The final stretch of the 2023 GPVWC Formula Sprint 1 season begins now. After our extended break, it is the final European round before the crucial Asian and South American rounds to round up the season. I'm very glad to be back. My name is Eoin Harmon, and alongside me in the broadcast booth, it's Edward Hunter. Ed, how are you keeping?
Good, thanks. It has been a while since Spa last time out, but very, very eager to get going again in FS1. There's Jack Mayer may come in with a pretty big lead in the chair. I think 55, 56 points over his teammate Simon Frelich, and then you've got Mike Quint and Thomas Harvey about 70, 78 points further back behind Jack Mayer. But I think certainly there's still lots to play for, and Jack Mayer certainly can't get too comfortable because it's so close right now. We've seen that consistently over the past couple of races. The qualifying in particular, it's always a little bit of a anybody could be on pole position sort of situation, and then that's not even before we get to race twos where we've had lots and lots of different winners this season. So it's pretty open. It can get pretty wild, and Monza, it's long straights, tight chicanes. It bunches up quite a lot, and anyone who's seeing FS2 on Tuesday will be very, very aware of that. So I think lots to look forward to, Eoin, and I'm excited to get through it.
Yeah, indeed, and obviously you've been in the booth for FS2 as well, so less of a break for you Mr. Busy Boots. But I suppose there'll be any insight that you can offer these FS1 drivers heading in to this massive qualifying session?
Well, first bit of insight, don't listen to me, because I don't think I've ever driven an FS1 car. So I know about racing, Eoin, but not this specific car, I don't think.
Yeah, okay.
Let's look at the Netrex of Omari Watson. New livery for Netrex, actually.
Yeah, it's an Italian pride, sort of.
Of course, local boys.
Look, yeah, a bit closer to the decal on the thumbnail even. It's very much the joy of being at home for Netrex, and the two drivers probably some of the most interesting to watch all season. They're on their prime. They're absolutely brilliant. Obviously, they've had some bad luck down the line previously in Baku. I remember that in particular. They collided with each other by pure happenstance. So, yeah, Mary Watson on board here. You can see the Italian flag on the halo. So, yeah, this is a massive round for Netrex, who are best of the rest in the Teams Championship, trying to pull away from Malta Force, who are without Menno Clont, who is unfortunately feeling unwell this week. But he is willing to pop in for a chat should we have an opportunity to give him a spot, and that would be very interesting to see what he has to say as well, while his teammate probably has to go all alone tonight.
Yeah, certainly, as we continue to watch Omari Watson circulate. A lot of pressure, I think, on Watson recently. That he's made a couple of mistakes at Hungary and Spa. That have, he was on for that podium at Hungary, remember, in race one, behind his teammate Carlos Martin. Remember, won 3 races in close succession, was doing incredibly well. And it really feels like Watson, who had the upper hand in the first part of the season, as there was that collision in Baku, and it sort of swung back the other way, hasn't it? Martin has excelled, and Omari has shown flashes of potential, but he's not always been quite able to deliver. As we see the Alpha Delta just twitch through the Alboreto Parabolica corner. And here is Watson crossing the line. He's going to be the fastest time, only just over Lucchini, who we saw just screwing the back end for the final corner, as Frelich also is right in there as well. We have top 4 all within less than a tenth of a second. So I said it'd be tight, and there's a visual illustration there as we see Frank Hamming has got a company of his front wing, I think, somewhere, which is not good for him.
Oh, goodness, yeah. You can't really, yeah, you probably want the least amount of downforce on the straights around here, but yeah, you've seen the proof in the pudding there. You cannot take the corners with optimum pace. And Aukenhag, who's actually the substitute for Menno Clont tonight, he's unfortunately buried it there, and he'll have to pick up and try again. And
I wonder if that's exactly what Frank Hamming did just before we cut to him as well, because it was that exact corner that he'd had the incident at that destroyed his front wing. So I think Aukenhag somehow has been able to keep the front wing in one piece, but certainly that will knock his confidence, if not his damage level on that car. But at Multiforce, they definitely need to arrest the slide. It's been attendance hasn't been stellar the past couple of rounds, but Mike Quint has been slowly getting it back together. Remember, there was that those 2 races at Spa. He performed very well. The strategy the rain where he went for the inters at the start of race 2. That was really what cost Mike Quint a chance of winning that particular race. His pace otherwise has been actually really, really strong. So Mike Quint, after some really, really big consistency, did briefly lead the championship early on. Unfortunately, now Jack Mayer's very much taken advantage in the championship and built that huge lead. Simon Frelick as well, winning last time out as well. As we see Jack Mayer without a rear wing. So some drivers deciding to part company with the front wing. Jack Mayer decides rear drag is overrated.
Yeah, that is definitely an odd strategy to take, but yeah, we'll hopefully see a repaired Mayer return to the track post haste. Yeah, so far so good for Watson heading into the final 10 minutes. Jabinski here in the top 10 as well. He'll get another outlap sorted very soon. In fairness, yeah, another strong showing here. Alpha Delta, the Italian pairing there, they'll be extra motivated to shine at their home race. So yeah, if they can lock out row 2, they'll be absolutely delighted. So yeah, Martin P6 trying to match or better his teammate at some point. So yeah, Frelick, who badly needed the maximum points in one of the races back in Spa, he got it, so that revives his bid for the championship by quite some chance, but not a massive chance, unless Mayer has a mare today. So
I thought I was the terrible pun guy. Eoin.
Yeah.
We're just looking at Lucchini there, who's currently third fastest, finished second in the feature race, the first race at Spa. And that was a really, really good drive for him and Alpha Delta. So Lucchini, I think, has really been delivering recently and has sort of kickstarted his championship out of nowhere, because he was sort of there or thereabouts, occasionally getting into the mix in a couple of early races, but great to see him finally get his best ever result and seemingly building on that momentum as we look at Watson once more. He's only 2 tenths off of his best lap of practice as well. It was, of course, a 29.7. He's on a 29.9 at the present moment. So let's see if he can improve yet further and keep Simon Frelick at arm's length, because that's ideally what you want here. And Watson, his pace, though, definitely not a flash in the pan, and he's flying consistently here throughout the week, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. The fact that the drivers have been waiting the extra amount of time to actually have their race day, yeah, it just means that there's a bit of extra impetus to get the practice done, and a bit of dust kicked up there after the Variante della Roggia. Now he's heading to the Lesmos. Again, he's getting right on the edge there. Yeah, that's much more settled down. Purple Sector 1, of course. Let's see how he matches that heading towards Ascari underneath the oval banking there. What's the time going to be now? He's well down, unfortunately, so there's very little chance of rescuing that unless he had a magnificent Parabolica exit. So I think he has to retry that lap. And Harvey, purple Sector 1, but he could rebound in Sector 3 after going behind his personal best. So Harvey in P5 here for Spark. Is there a solid turn in? Oh, and Martin takes pole ahead of Russo, actually. So Watson's down 2 places in the blink of an eye, but Harvey does not feel this lap is going to work for him. Mayer, though, could be on for massive lap time here. Oh, it's just 2 places gained there, Ed, so a little bit more pace to find, but his rear wing is intact now.
Yeah, we were talking about Watson, about Lucchini, and Jack Mayer, but all 3 of their teammates have currently outqualified them at the moment. Martin, Frelick, and Russo putting in excellent efforts there. 129.693 by Carlos Martin to go a tenth ahead of Simon Frelick, and then Russo only marginally behind that as well. So yeah, it's fine margins here. Just getting on that power a little bit earlier, a little bit more straight line speed. There's always going to be a little bit of setup here at play as we look at Perseus Miram improving, but not faster than 23rd in the overall order, sadly, for him. So it's going to be pretty near the back, sadly, with only Magnus Ockenhaug about 3 tenths behind him. Ockenhaug has at least got it together as we look at Rozak trying to extend Lesmo 2 as much as possible, and that could cost him there. That almost looked like both left tires were dipping in the gravel there, Eoin.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. It was very unsettled on the power application again before Ascari. So yeah, that lap time is surely busted flush, and you have to try again. Now here's Alex Lahou. He's gonna have his first flying lap, hopefully registered with just over 5 minutes to go. He's leaving it late here, and indeed TCSO are without the usual pairing. Let's see.
I think he said a 1:30 earlier, Eoin.
Yeah, okay, must have been, yeah.
That's why he's 10th at the moment. But into first chicane he goes. Well, just about getting it. It's always a bit of a tricky chicane because if you brake a little bit too early, you sort of end up having to get out of the throttle and sort of coast into the corner a bit. And if you brake too late, obviously, you're going across. So you have to get it spot on, especially in the race. But qualifying 2 can be really, really critical here. And Alex Lahou, we know, excels in qualifying as he goes through Red VDO2. He's 2 temps up on his previous best time here. So this is really do or die for Alex Lahou then as he goes through the Lesmos.
Yeah, this is highly important. And I was just going to mention Louis Comunio is not on the grid today. It's in fact David Wasserman substituting in for TCS off. So the usual pairing. They've not been together at all recently, but hopefully we'll see them again before too long. But yeah, this is massive now for Lahou. He's gone just probably underneath the benchmark by Martin. And the Parabolica awaits to see if he can secure a 1 minute 29 point something. We'll see exactly what's going to occur here. And that looks like he's going to abandon the lap. That doesn't look like an optimum line to me. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's see what he does. Oh, wow, actually, very much incorrect. Yeah, he hugged the inside line, and that paid off brilliantly for a second place. But Lucchini there has unfortunately caused himself a lot of damage, and he'll have to pit for repairs.
And Lucchini was purple in Sector 2, which is exactly where Lahou was, while setting a personal best, wasn't quite as quick as Martin. So Lucchini, yeah, that was potentially a really, really good lap squandered there. But yeah, Lahou, you saw just came all the way to the right as we ride on board with Lucchini and see what went wrong for him through Alperetti. Oh, it's the entry. Carried too much speed. The rear just started misbehaving and he couldn't collect it in time. That would have compromised his lap anyway if he had been able to save it, but damage is done. And he'll have to get out again. Still 3 minutes, just under 3 minutes to go, so he should get maybe 2 more runs in. It's a fairly short lap here of just under 90 seconds in at qualifying speeds. As we go back to Rozak, still down 11th, but sets a purple first sector actually, according to the on-screen graphic, but I think it's actually a personal best. Yeah, let's see. Rozak sets a 30.5, which is about a tenth slower than the front runners have been doing. Lahou sets a 30.4 on his lap, which is not an improvement through Sector 1.
No, but still perfectly tolerable. Rorschach continues to lay down the rubber, and his lap time, he can hang on to it. It should be capable of gaining him some places. His target would probably be getting Thomas Harvey there for 8th. Let's see if he can better that. Here comes the 129. Oh, it's much better than that. P6 dislodges Jack Mayer, as a matter of fact.
Jack sets the exact same time as Jack Mayer to 3 decimal places. So, Jack Russo has actually gotten himself onto the front row just ahead of Alex Lahou. And I say just, I mean a 0.02 of a second ahead. So that really shows you how literally tight it is. You can't put a cigarette paper between them in terms of their lap, as Fuentes goes 21st fastest.
Mm-hmm. Freilich trying to get as much speed as he can to see if he can get that outlap sorted into a flying lap. Martin gets offline a little bit. Let's see if that's damaged the pace of the car for this lap. You'll have to probably slow it right down if he realizes his time is off, because it'll be his final. Yeah, it's definitely too slow to constitute a good lap time, so he has to back off, try and reset and go one more time. Otherwise he'll be out of his time, and then everyone else have a chance to have a pop at him and take away provisional pole. So yeah, Martin will definitely carry on, and with 40 seconds to go, he'll be certainly feeling the nerves. He'll be delighted to get pole position at his team's track, but now he is now pulling into the pits, so he must believe he's done enough. But here's Lahu. Yeah, again, he is using all that runoff area to the outside to build up the speed and hopefully nail his approach into the Rettifilio chicane.
Exactly, so crucial not to lose any time down these straights here, especially if Lahu is set up more for the corners and sort of low traction zones, as Lucchini makes it an Alpha Delta 2-3 there with a brilliant late effort there to go 4 thousandths ahead of his teammate Russo. So even more important for Alex Lahu to make the magic happen for him here. He powers towards Rettifilio chicane number 2. And here we go. Just about meets both apexes there. Stays out of the gravel. And it's a very, very strong first sector then. It was about 3 or 4 tenths quicker than both Alpha Deltas there through sector 1. Let's see if he can keep that up then, Eoin, through sector 2.
Oh, that was close. That was close. But no sweat off the back of Lahu. This has outstanding possibilities if this sector time, yeah, it's strong, but yeah, he needs to settle it down. A little bit heavy on the curbs there, but no problems from what I can tell. And we'll see if he tries the technique into Parabolica one more time and try and get himself onto the front row, or maybe just ahead of Russo to split those Alpha Deltas. Oh, he's going... Yes, there you go. There's the turn into the inside after the mid apex. And there you go, checkered flag waving. Oh, he's done it. Oh, my word. Wow. 4 thousandths of a second. And that takes Martin down. And he had no chance of reply. Thomas Harvey, consistent lap time here. Not necessarily a thrilling lap time if he can't pull this off. Let's see what he does. It's P6, so he does manage to equal purple in the final sector. So that was really good. A very solid lap time in the end there. Gozowski and others just trying to get their names up into the points scoring position, Ed.
Yeah, I think everyone's finished then. So that confirms pole position for Alex Lahu. It looked like he was really on the ragged edge there. Like he was going to, on the very verge of between spinning off the track and setting pole position. There's such a fine margin between the two. But that could well be one of the finest laps, I think, of Lahu's career. And when the pressure was on, when it really counted, he delivered. And unfortunately for him, the race is still to come. And that's where he really tends to struggle. Qualifying, he's absolutely excellent at. So now we've got a real test on our hands and a load of top drivers all looking to snatch that lead from him in a slipstreaming stormer here at Monza.
Yeah, so this is probably the one track where pole position could be exploited due to that slipstream effect, but nevertheless, Alex Lahu is the pole sitter, having just beaten out Martin by fractions. The Alpha Delta guys, they do have that row 2 lockout, and they'll be thrilled with themselves. Shimon Freilich in the top 5 there. He's the main contender for the championship to have qualified the best in this round, but Thomas Harvey, though, can't be ruled out in P6. Then we have Watson, Roshak, Mayer, and Dragoon completing the top 10. Spark will be solid, feeling confident with Gut there in 11th as well, so not too bad. Javinsky, Kropp, Riboli, another Italian there. He hopes to keep this form up. And Svillo there in the final points paying position in 15th. Mike Quint, he'll be feeling a bit concerned there with 16th, but still time. Latsinen in 17th with Gozowski, Wasserman, and Hamming all set to go just about a second behind there in the case of Hamming. And then the final positions go to Chris Butcher, Magnus Ockenhag, Juan Fuentes, and Perseus Miram. A bit of a reduced grid compared to most weeks, Ed, but it's still very, very competitive lineup of drivers.
Absolutely, yeah. And the big surprises there to me are Jack Mayer down in 9th and Mike Quint down in 16th on the grid. That's definitely worrying times for Multiforce with no car starting in the top 15. And for Jack Mayer, he doesn't really want to give his title to rivals. He's got Harvey and Freilich ahead of him. They've both got a golden opportunity to sort of close ground on him now. And especially Frelick, I say only 55 points behind, it is still quite a lot. With the amount of races we got left, Frelick can start a winning run, keep getting on the podium, and Mayer starts having issues, then we could see a rerun of the first, was it the first 3 or 4 races where Frelick just started romping away with the championship until he hit trouble mid-season. So it pendulums, swings and roundabouts, all sorts of things can happen in this championship, and Jack Mayer, he's going to be in the mid-pack when they come into that first Rettifilio chicane on the first lap, and priority's got to be stay out of trouble, really, because that is exactly where it's going to start happening.
Yeah, I'm sure the incident in the second race at Spa that caused absolute mayhem, it was obviously 4 weeks ago now, but it'll still be fresh in the minds of those drivers who were collected. And of course, with the private qualifying session now over, everyone has to share the track with each other in this warm-up session. The tow will definitely be everyone's priority to make sure that their setup is tuned correctly so it can handle the extra speed when you're slipstreaming another driver, and they have to test what their braking zone is when they're going that little bit extra quick. So yeah, Hamming has a job to do here to make sure this train is kept safe behind him. So yeah, every driver has a special role to play, even with 8 minutes of the warm-up to go.
Yeah, and Hamming had a very, very tough qualifying, even though he isn't really qualifying high up there in the top 5. He's usually sort of low-end top 10, the 12th, 15th, that sort of area, but 20th is he's going to be looking forward rather than behind him for quite a lot of this race. But Frank Hamming, he does have that habit of just climbing through the order. No matter what track we go to, he finds a way to just gain places no matter where he qualifies. So, as we see Frelick just muscle past one of the EP lap cars at Lesmo 2, which I dare say he won't be thanking him for that one afterwards.
No, not at all. That will definitely be something to note. Lesmo, not a common overtaking area here at Monza. It's could be a little bit too tight compared to most of the other corners with the hard braking zones available, and indeed the start-finish straight. Yeah, one of the Lunar cars, I suspect it's Crop, is it? Yeah, it could be Mart's Crop. He'll be offering the tow to Frelick. We'll start to see some lap times registered. I must take notes of any cases where the slipstream really did make a difference, but so far on the fuel loads, I think everyone just wants to get the banker lap sorted. These 1:31 31s proving to be the common denominator.
Any thoughts on strategy, Eoin? In terms of, it's almost certainly going to be a one-stop race, isn't it? I imagine start on the mediums, maybe go to the hards to the end.
Yeah, if you're one of the drivers in the top 10, set your lap time on softs. Yeah, you do have to keep that
Of course, yeah.
as mandatory. So they'll need to push as hard as they can for the first 7 or 8 laps, and then get a tire change completed. But yeah, if you're a driver 11th or below, then yeah, definitely start on mediums and hope for a little bit of topsy-turvy driving from those ahead of you, and then you could really exploit when your tire wear gets better as the stint goes on. So yeah, I would say the soft tire drivers really have to push from the get-go, otherwise they will be swallowed up a bit later on, since Monza is quite generous on the tires. So it's more keeping the brake temperature in check. That's probably the key for each driver, regardless of their tire choice.
Anyway, so 5 minutes left of the warm-up then, as we look at Carlos Martin just pipped to pole then by 0.004 of a second by Alex Lahou. We've talked about this all season. Lahou, he did win a race earlier in the season, which sadly wasn't broadcast at Saudi Arabia, if I remember correctly. Can he do the business with everyone watching him at Monza? Or do you think Carlos Martin and Netrex are going to outsmart TCS off racing? Because they always seem to be so on it with their strategy here. But if it is a one-stop race, there might not be a whole lot they can do.
Yeah, your memory is correct. And yeah, Netrex have been some of the most dynamic strategists on the grid. Their ability to work together, certainly for the case of Martin, when he got one of his victories Watson was instrumental in helping him achieve the goal with their ability to cooperate on the circuit, and we'll see some Hyperion cooperation now with the two Matthewses getting the slipstream with one another. But yeah, that's certainly something to think about. Yeah, it's definitely, as we said, probably the very beginning of the season with Lahoo. He had a barrel roll crash at the season opener in Imola, and ever since then it's just been an exciting encyclopedia of mishaps and misfortune for Alex. So hopefully this is a day where his revival truly begins. So there we go. A bit of a clumsy overtake there, but Zubinski is through.
Yeah, there was a bit of a debate at the end of the FS2 first race here on Tuesday about for the lead, somebody just literally cutting that first chicane because they were essentially felt they were forced off track. As we see the Hyperions going side by side in formation. Gazowski now just slots in behind, but interesting stuff here. They're certainly trying to test each other's racecraft. This feels like a mock exam or something. The way these guys are driving around. But Lahoo...
Oh, careful. Yeah, I suppose, the spirit of secondary school students getting their results. It's certainly the case for the GCSEs, wasn't it, over in the UK? Or the A levels, I keep getting mixed up.
Yeah, it was quite recently, wasn't it? That they, I nearly said gave them out there, but obviously students had to earn those.
Yes.
It sounded very showing my age there. But yeah, we've got two Netrexes up the front, two Alpha Deltas, interestingly. Like you said, got the second row to themselves. They were second last time out, as we see the Hyperions continuing to just put on a show here, the Polish team. They're Roman legionnaires, isn't it, Hyperion? That they're sort of with their sort of Roman or Greek sort of helmet it's based on. So there's a sort of slight home theme to this team, even though they're not from Italy, and neither of the drivers are either. But a bit of inspiration from Italy from down the ages, I guess. But we got Lahoo sort of on his own, and Alpha Delta's Russo got that podium in Spa, but also let's not forget Lucchini was up there as well before crashing out, of course. So Mirko Lucchini had a few opportunities and had a few that sort of slipped through his fingers. You think back to Spain race 2 where he was fighting for the podium and then got hit in the back. I think Jack Mayer it was, just for no fault of his own. He saving tyres going quite slowly and just got tagged at the rear and spun around. It was a bit of a racing incident, I think, decided in the end. But I think Lucchini could be a big factor here. For him and Russo slipstreaming, the two Netrexes slipstreaming each other, they could use that to find a way through past Lahoo. And Lahoo might end up having to sort of do a Poison Chalice alliance with maybe one of the TOPs, like Simon Frelick down in 5th, I think is the next of the team. They might end up just having to work together just because they're not in the Netrex or Alpha Delta camp.
Yeah, that's certainly an unusual alliance, but yeah, anything goes for the first few laps anyway, before the competition for victories, podiums and points. They'll all be all for one and one for all sort of thing, making sure there's no doubt in the opposition's mind that I want to get the best out of this first race, and I'm going to do whatever it takes within reason to do it. So yeah, that's where the competition will heat up towards the end. At the beginning, probably a little bit of cooperation and trying to feel the ideal racing line, and any overtaking spots they'll be hopefully discovered in smooth fashion. So yeah, beautiful day, as we should probably mention as well, here in Italy. So a slide there for Zubinski in his practice session here. The warm-up will be over in a bit of a heap, and the checkered flag will wave just now. So there we go. We'll be wrapping up the warm-up, and the formation lap will be ready in earnest.
Zubinski, the drama queen there. But drama king, I should say. You have a few comments in chat, by the way. CJ Mag says that Alex Lahoo pole, what a nerd. Formula 1291 says go Netrex. Technice says, what game is this? It is R Factor 2, Technice. Kakira actually says that for me before I can say it. So my comment's redundant there. But yeah, great to see over 30 people tuning in now. Races, we see Moritz Kropp in the Lunark. He applied outside the top 10, but of course is fresh. Oh, I say fresh, about a month off of him last time out at Spa as well in race 2. So Lunark certainly on the up and up with Moritz Kropp delivering at the moment, and still going to be a lot of work to do, but it's great to see that team with their THR affiliations delivering, and with two great drivers in Chris Butcher, Moritz Kropp, looking to score big points once more again here at Monza.
Precisely, yeah. It's been a great half season for Lunark, and hopefully there is room for them to get to work properly in 2024 and see if they can create a full-on bid for honours. There we go. The final classifications for the warm-up session is complete. 22 drivers set valid lap times. I suppose the other two, Svillo and Wasserman, probably need a bit of intel from their team just to make sure all is well and they're ready to go with whatever strategy calls they need. So yeah, to confirm, we will be racing for 26 laps in this first race, the feature, and it'll be an 18-lap sprint with reverse grids decided by random draw. So now race direction are summoning drivers onto their grid slots now.
Temperature's also gone down dramatically to 25 degrees. It was 42 in that warm-up just now. So it's still bright and sunny, but certainly with the temps dropping, that means the tyre wear should be even less than it looked like it was going to be. If it's 42-degree track temperature, that means that's basically hard tyre sort of territory you're sort of approaching, whereas the 25 degrees, yeah, the softs and the mediums should probably be the ones to be on now.
Yeah, we'll see for definite what tyre choices the drivers outside the top 10 have made. I know I've made the mistake before where the correct compound didn't load in during the formation lap. It was after the formation lap where it started to appear. But yeah, so some drivers want to have that early pace, get the best lap times in quickly and go from there. Yeah, nevertheless, we'll have our rundown of the grid once more with Alex Lehu on provisional pole, which is now going to be converted to a proper pole. Martin, second place for him. Lucchini and Russo, the Italians, for the Alpha Delta squad, locking out the second row, and they'll be very optimistic about their chances at home. Shimon Freilich and Thomas Harvey, championship contenders, together on the third row. Watson and Roshak just behind in 7th and 8th. Sorry about that. I think my internet had a hiccup. So we're now down to 17th and 18th. Latinen, Guzovsky, Wasserman and Hamming in the top 20 there. Butcher, Ockenhag, Fuentes and Miram are the final 4 drivers on the grid. So yeah, apologies for losing connection there. I missed the 7 or 8 drivers, but yeah, hopefully the graphics did the job for me. And Ed, yeah, let's get 4 weeks of rest and preparation out of the way. It is competition time once more.
Absolutely, and to be fair, if I was thinking on my feet there, I would have just filled in the ones that you had missed there, but I didn't know when you come back.
No, yeah,
there we go. Look at the amount of that's being kicked up there by Lehu on this final corner to the grid. It's almost like he's trying to just intimidate Carlos Martin, saying, "Don't try and come up the inside me through the exit of Barretto Parabolica, because that's what's going to happen, mate." And Martin's thinking, "Oh, I'm going to be ahead long before then." So this reminds me a lot of Silverstone, where these two fought Jack Mayer for victory as well. So I think this time they got the front row all to themselves. Alpha Delta could well be a factor as well. So This is going to be high speed. It's going to be absolutely thrilling, and a lot of this could depend on who gets to the first corner first and who makes the best start off the line.
Yeah, the launch on the run down to the first chicane is pivotal, to say the least. Lahu and Martin, they'll be focused on the lights, and there we go. It is. I didn't actually see the lights illuminate and then extinguish. So let's see, with the inside line, Martin has control, but can he complete the turn in? No, Lahu has extra oomph to get through the corner, and the teammates for Alpha Delta in full cooperation mode there, but Martin is not going to give up, and the ability to go through the slipstream here, very, very apparent through the Curva Grande. And here we go, another attack on the inside. It is thwarted.
Yeah, there we go, the two Alpha Deltas swapping positions. So Russo was able to get the inside line for Curva Grande on Lucchini, and they need to make sure they don't fall too far behind the two leaders here. But Lahu has really judged it well. That late break. Oh! As I say that, he just pushes so hard, just like we saw in qualifying, going that little bit too far out there. And this creates an opportunity then for Martin as they go under the old bridge at the banking towards Ascari. And again, Lahu just has to settle down a bit, get into race mode rather than qualifying mode. But he's under huge, huge pressure here. He's clearly feeling it from Martin at the moment. And this is knife-edge stuff for TCS Off Racing, because this could be their best chance to win this season.
Yeah, another opportunity to win for Lahu, but on the broadcast in full capacity this time around. So he has led the opening lap here at Monza. It's been a pretty stable start, but from Rorschach back, there is a bit of a gulf, and Jack Mayer in 9th has dropped a position. Dragoon has benefited there. Crop in P10. He's going to watch and see what happens. So yeah, the interval is now on screen. Lahu is holding out by a quarter of a second. The two Alpha Deltas are working together. So there you go, see Dragoon +2, and Mayer stays 9th, but he was 8th briefly and then he lost position. Crop has gained 3. Watson, in contrast to his teammate, has dropped by 4 positions. Ockenhag, though, for Multiforce, he has responsibility just to bring the car home and hope there are some spare points on offer, and that is a wide. That would be Watson, I think, struggling a bit.
I think it's Riboli.
Riboli, excuse me.
Yeah, Riboli was fighting with Vincent Gutz and just went off at Rotifilia number 2 there. And that's allowed Mike Quint to gain a position. Frank Hamming has also gained, I think, about 4 or 5 places from starting in 20th then, so he's navigated these first 2 laps very well indeed. Up front, Lahu has got half a second then on Carlos Martin, and we might see the closer that Martin gets, Lahu trying to break the toe desperately just to make sure that he doesn't have Martin just tuck in behind him and then dive up the inside into turn 1.
Yeah, now the signal for DRS is enabled, so this is the opportunity that perhaps Russo's been waiting for. You can see he's gained on Martin this lap. So, yeah, this could be a chance for another outside contender for victory, getting a position gain. So he did find a little bit of time. But Lahu, purple lap time. Ockenhag, though, in fairness to him, he has dismissed Svillo for position there. So Multiforce giving him the confidence he needs to fight for those positions. Oh, cutting the corner there. That's a wide. That's exactly what it was, Ed.
It was Russo. Russo drops from 3rd to 6th then. So he's not just overtaken by his teammate by braking late there, as we see one of the HGPs, no, that's Dragoon, sorry, from the Rowan GP all over the back of Rozak. So both of those have gained positions from where they started. Moritz Krop, who's comfortably held off Jack Mayer at the start of this race, is now all over the back of Dragoon. And remember, these guys could all well be up front come race 2 as well in the reverse grid order. So they desperately need to finish as well as they can and get as many points out of race 1 as possible. But Moritz Krop looks very, very fired up right now after qualifying a little bit further down, and he's looking up the inside then into Alboreto, and Dragoon gets well out of the way, and in fact Jack Mayer is going to follow through as well, sticks right to the inside, and he's able to gain 2 places in 1 there, and that is canny racecraft from our championship leader, and now he has to be brave and hold the inside here. He didn't get DRS, I don't think. They all got DRS somehow off one another.
Yeah, how bizarre, but someone's got to decide to back out here. Dragoon, though, in fairness, he does wipe away those blushes, and he gets back to work after being caught out at Parabolica. He's back down to 10th, but he has a chance again into Della Roggia. Oh no, he's going to have to take the run off. There's no room at the end there. Oh no! Oh,
he's hit Watson as he rejoined.
He's hit Watson.
Watson seems to be okay. Mayer has just about held onto his front wing, Eoin, but that was an unsafe rejoin I've ever saw. But the pack was so tightly bunched together that I don't think there was too much more Jack Mayer could have done to avoid a collision.
No, we'll check out the replay, but yeah, there were too many cars perhaps in that second run to the Lesmo. Yeah, I've just looked at it on my own. Picture-in-picture, it was exactly... Yeah, so two cars were alongside each other. Mayer tried to fill the gap in, and it was not available to him. So yeah, that is unfortunate and not deliberate. I will say that much. It was certainly not reckless on Mayer's part. It was just pure accident. He didn't realise what was going on precisely, so just an unfortunate collision. And he has to build his way back up from 16th. Here's an onboard shot now. The defence from Dragoon. Absolute. Ooh, maybe. Yeah, there could be.
Dragoon went to the racing line there, didn't he?
Yeah, he went to the racing line, yeah. Oh. And there's the rejoin, yeah. Oh.
It means that you've really got to be looking in your mirrors in that sort of situation, haven't you, to see exactly where the other driver is. And I'm pretty sure it was Watson in the second of the Netrex. Just wrong place, wrong time, really, as we go back on board. Hamming, who's in a, I think, slipstream battle down here with, that must be Mike Quinn on the side. This is, him threading the needle into turn one. This is how he gained 4 or 5 spots in the first 2 laps then. Yeah. Most of that was at the first corner.
And that's crucial because he is one of the medium tyre runners, willing to go against the grain of those soft tyres. And there was the moment early on in the race before the DRS opened. Lahu giving absolute full steam ahead and hanging on to the slide. Yeah, the race starting to develop now. Lahu and Martin are miles ahead, certainly Monza standards from Lucchini. Freilich will be eyeing up that podium spot with Russo now trying to perhaps protect his teammate's podium. So let's see how this plays out, Ed.
Yeah, and Jack Mayer, remember, down in 16th is out of the point, so Simon Freilich has got a golden opportunity to cut that 55-point gap. If he can clear these alpha deltas and start pressuring the 2 leaders, which is in clear air, if indeed he can keep up with the pace they've been setting, which has been in the sort of 130s, 130, high 130s or low 131s, whereas Lucchini and Freilich have been in sort of the high 31s at the moment, as there's Ockenhaug defending at the first corner from Jesse Lattinen, doing so successfully. But good news for Russo after he went straight on at Rettifilo a few laps ago is that he's got back past Thomas Hardy and now all over the back of Freilich. So Alpha Delta can sort of control Simon Freilich because they've got him covered in front and behind at the moment. But Simon Freilich, he won't like being in this situation. He'll want to break free as soon as possible, but potentially with an early stop to undercut the 2 of them.
Yeah, that's another interesting point. The 24 cars as opposed to the maximum available grid of 30, that will make the undercut even more powerful than usual, as there will be fewer cars to contend with. So yeah, I'd say a lot of drivers need to think, should I pit 1 or 2 laps earlier than the ideal pit window and go for full commitment on the undercut. So that is definitely a strategy I would be interested to see if anyone thinks possible. Lahu crosses the line to mark 20 laps to go. Lap 7 has duly begun. Freilich's not really close enough to overtake on raw power. So Lucchini will retain P3 for a bit longer, but Frank Hamming is in position to battle Mike Quint. And yeah, Quint is going to lose 2 positions. Guzovsky with optimal play there to take full advantage of that difficulty for another contender in Quint.
Yeah, and we cut up front, who is starting to get really defensive in the braking zones from Carlos Martin. They have built that gap, but now that Lehu is driving on his mirrors a bit more, not only is he going to go that little bit slower to try and hold Carlos Martin up, although you wouldn't know it from how wide he's going through Lesmo 2 seemingly every lap, and it's a sort of a roll of the dice every time he does that, it feels like, with Alex Lehu. We're so used to seeing him push that little bit too hard, ask that bit too much of his tyres, and ending in disaster, but he's avoided disaster brilliantly so far in the first 7 laps of this race. He's only got 19 more to go. He wants to take his second win of the season, and boy does he need it, and do TCS Off Racing need it as well, because they haven't had a whole lot to shout about so far in the last couple of races this season.
Yeah, you would think the quality drives we have seen from Munier and Lehu, they deserve a lot more than they've got. It's just those critical DNFs we've seen has sliced and battered their points total, where the more consistent build sim have taken advantage. And HGP as well, they've had Hamming on a fantastic run of high point scores for quite a while. So yeah, TCS Off, to make absolutely sure they can finish 5th in the championship, they need a driver of Lehu's standards to win today and get that momentum back. But Thomas Harvey, his job will be to chase down Russo. And so far so good. He will have made half a second worth of time in just the first sector there.
Yeah, the problem he's got is that right behind him is Rozak, and just behind Rozak, as we see somebody kicking up dust at Lesmo 2, it's Moritz Kropp, who's absolutely flying at the moment. He's set a 30.4 in the first sector. That's 0.3 quicker than the leaders. Last lap round for Kropp was 31.3, which was a tenth quicker than Rozak. Very similar to Harvey in front of him. So Kropp, who's gained 5 places from where he started in this race, is on a bit of a charge in that Lunark up the order, similar to the one we're seeing Frank Hamming go on from 20th to 13th at the moment. So that's 7 places gained for him. So yeah, you can see very, very comparable. Those two desperately trying to outdo each other in terms of places gained where they started. As we cut back to Jack Mayer, who was broken free from Riboli behind him and has now got Mike Quinn.
Wow.
So those two title contenders, they've rejoined again. As we see Rozak, he's got Harvey. He's trying to go up the inside of Harvey at turn 1. And Harvey was not about to let that happen to him, as now Zabinski side by side with Dragoon. Zabinski's going to try and go around the outside, and he will potentially have the line here. Watson getting a lovely toe off the pair of them as they go through Curva Grande. And which way does he go here, Eoin? Because this is a delicate situation.
Yeah, if I were in Watson's shoes, I'd just follow the ordinary racing line and just hope that Dragoon, yeah, he has actually slotted into place. No problem. So, yeah, Watson is hopefully his situation works out for the better, and he can find maybe the inside line into Ascari. That would be a good opportunity to force the play onto Dragoon. Yeah, so far Martin has been trading sector times here with Lehu. Their pit strategy calls are going to be so precious one way or the other, but when you're Lehu in the lead, it's more difficult to surprise your opponent, whereas Martin has a little bit of leeway. He could duck into the pits out of nowhere and put Lehu on the spot.
Yeah, the problem is that Lehu doesn't really get much of a respite or any kind of relaxation, as Martin just tries to nibble up the inside then into the first chicane. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. So we see Harvey and Rozak continue to squabble over 6th place. The other thing I'm getting at the moment from all this, Eoin, is that the mediums are not particularly quick at all. The only driver who seems to be able to make them work is Vincent Gutt in the Spark down in 12th. And we saw Mike Quinn being driven around the outside by Mayer and Riboli now as well, like he was standing still. So that really shows you how much the Multiforce is struggling. And now Kropp fancies to go around the outside at Rozak, and does well not to spin on the exit there from Rotofilio 2.
Yeah, and maybe the Lunar team will try and reassure Moritz that they can still gain the 2 positions in front of him. Could require the pit stop strategy, as I've alluded to. But yeah, the main thing is he doesn't drop it and throw away perhaps is it about 11 points for 8th place. We'll check that now. So now at 8 points for 8th. Yes, exactly. That's logical.
It's one of the easier ones to remember.
And I messed up. Yes. Yeah.
You could give 3 extra points for 8th if you wanted to. I'm sure Mark would.
Yeah, you wouldn't argue with that.
Not sure it's really in your power, though, Eoin.
No. Oh well.
Anyway, we continue unabated into lap 11 then. Who leading by 3/10 over Carlos Martin. Is Martin going to have another go, Eoin?
Yeah, it would be worthwhile to see if he can get alongside, maybe slow Lahu down into the Curva Grande. Any sign of that happening? I can't see it so far. Maybe I'm lagging out a little bit again, but yeah, Martin just doing his best, but yeah, he doesn't have to go for the move just yet. There's just still a long way to go in this race.
Oh, and that looks like a crop getting past not just Rozak, but Harvey as well through the first chicane then. So something going very wrong for the spark of Thomas Harvey, and Lunark continue to gain ground as Harvey just about hold Rozak at bay now. And I think whatever the issue was on our end, it seems, because I was having the same issue as Eoin, and it seems to have cleared up. Let's have a replay then. Let's see what this is. This looks like Mike Quint struggling. He's dropped to 24th position, and I think we're about to see why. He's got Chris Butcher all over the back of him. Through Lesmo 2 he goes. That's all the way to the inside. There's some sort of issue for Mike Quint. Maybe the wheel died on him, but his teammate going through as well. So he comes to a dead stop there and hopefully gets going again. But I don't think he did, actually. I think Mike Quint may be out of this one, which is a big shame for him, and I think that officially signals the end of his championship charge, with him being 80 points, more than 80 points behind now. Here's a replay of Rozak sliding to the inside of Quint, the two coming together. Rozak flying over the curves. No wonder Moritz Kopp was able to get past them so quickly. And look at this, Martin to the outside of Alex Lahu, who controls the middle of the road, tries to push him out onto the curb, leaves just enough space, and Carlos Martin takes the lead at Monza.
Yeah, Netrex will be jumping for joy. Their bid to win at home, it's now on. Lahu will not take that lightly, and here he goes. This the punt that will lead to his downfall. Thankfully not. No, he does back out in reasonable time. Yeah, he's going to try again. Ideally, he should wait for the next DRS zone, which is just coming up after Lesmo 2. Yeah, France and Italy have storied rivalries across motorsport and other track and field sports, so this is one to watch. With, of course, Martin, a Spanish driver, another major European power. Oh, here we go. Oh, not quite.
Oh, but look at this. This is allowing Lucchini to get involved in this. Martin took the Lahu line there for Lesmo 2. These two squabbling with one another. Opens it up for Alpha Delta now. Could Lucchini potentially pull a blinder here on lap 12? We're nearly half distance here. Hit for mediums and get to the end here, because suddenly these two held each other up so much on this lap.
Yeah, we'll see exactly how severe the delay was for one another. Yeah, Lahu at 133.4, Lucchini 131.8. So he's gained significantly now on the outside. Lahu on pure pace has regained the lead here, so he did not tolerate being second best for very long, and Netrex may have to think of plan B now.
Yeah, the problem on that lap was Martin had to get so defensive to hold him at bay. As we see the first pit stop from Zubinski and the Hyperion, he's switching onto the medium tyres. That's his one stop done for the day, hopefully for Hyperion. We saw them rehearsing their slipstreaming moves on one another, but two cars disparate positions in the order. Kozowski and Temp. Zubinski is going to come out down in 17th then. And look at Frelick as well. He's caught up to the back of Lucchini as well. So this is suddenly turning into a 4-horse race, but maybe even a 5-horse race if Russo can catch back up to the pair of both of them. And remember, Frelick desperately wants to finish on the podium here and clear these Alpha Deltas. He's been stuck behind Lucchini for so long in this race. Look how much curb he's taking at Ascari as well. That shows you that Frelick is really trying to get the most out of his tyres. Maybe he's pushing going to the pit soon.
Yeah, his teammate actually did pit a lap ago. I didn't see it. It has been shown up on my telemetry. So Mayer
Watson's pit
may
as well.
have some. Yeah, Mayer and Watson both may have some information for their teammates to relay. But here we go, pit stop. It's Lehu and Lucchini to pit. That leaves Martin, Freilich, and Russo just out of DRS. They will have to go a lap longer, at least, to try and make their strategies work. So at the very end of pit lane, straight onto those mediums, Lehu will pray for perhaps a slipstream bonus from a driver who will realise they're against one of the contenders for the win and give him a little speed boost.
See visually how much Lucchini has caught up, and is that Latinen going past the pair of them then? So Alex Lehu will need to clear Jesse Latinen in the Friesland very, very quickly here. Pronto, as the Italians say, if he wants to win this race, because Martin is going to take advantage of that free air. Freilich as well, let's not forget. They may even respond at the end of this lap too. So let's see a replay then of what just happened. Latinen sets a personal best lap, by the way.
Yeah, very good. Here's the replay. Martin got through on the left-hand turn. He had the ideal position for his car. Lehu had nowhere else to go but stay out wider. But now this is the point of main interest for the moment. Yassi Latinen. Dragoon has pulled off to the side and he's out. No more points for Dragoon. He will be forced into retirement. Didn't see exactly what happened. But yeah, Martin will respond straight away. Freilich wants to go long here, Ed.
Interesting call by TOP, and that shows that Freilich is very, very comfortable on this set of tyres then. Wants to use the clear air, build as big a gap as he can, potentially trying to overcut the Alpha Deltas. But they are gaining time all the time here. There goes Lucchini. Oh, is he stuck behind Latinen? That's the Alboreto Parabolica as Carlos Martin exits the pits. Where is he going to come out in relation to... Russo is coming out at the same time as well. There is Alex Lehu. So he retains position. Oh, no, he doesn't. Carlos Martin jumped him.
Wow, that's a massive coup there for the NetRex team. Maybe it was misleading camera shot there, unfortunately, but yes, the undercut has worked out. TOP need to urgently
overcut, you mean?
Yeah, overcut, excuse me, yeah, my bad. Yeah, the overcut has paid off brilliantly there for Martin. Now we'll see what Freilich can do about that. He'll need to know straight away how that has developed. Oh, trouble there for Rorschach. He's slow out of the Curva Grande and drops to P14. Mayer will be pleased with that. There he is in 13th through for the position. Zabinski and Gut also going to compete as hard as they can. So here's another replay coming up. This is Rorschach. Yeah, he has gone too deep into the first chicane. He's back out on the circuit after following the zigzag re-entry point. So yeah, Rorschach losing a lot of time there.
So we'll see even more because he tagged the gravel there at Lesmo too. But Gut, who's just switched on to the soft tyres, has not given up on Zabinski whatsoever, and these two squabbling very much plays into the hands of Jack Mayer, who's gained 3 positions in recent history. As you see yellow in Sector 2 then, we saw Dragoon drop out not too long ago as somebody else come to grief as well. It seems to have cleared for the time being. But Simon Freilich still, no, he's pitting now, isn't he? And he's come out in between Martin and Alex. Oh, well, there they are. Oh. And around the outside goes Simon Freilich. It's all falling apart for Alex Lehu at the moment.
Yeah, this is a deep concern now. He's got to fight back. Otherwise, Freilich on slightly fresher mediums there. They've just loaded in now on our screens. Yeah, he will have the superior rubber, but they are a bit chilly. And Lehu will take full advantage there. That was a bit of a mishap, as obviously the temperatures are not quite there yet for Freilich. And Lehu will breathe perhaps one breath of relief, because he has not lost his position after all. And the battle will be on with Martin starting to pull away a bit. Chris Butcher going extra long for Lunark on his strategy. He is the temporary leader.
He is, but see, because I think Chris Butcher, where was he? He was like 16th, I think, before all the pit stops happened. But we'll have to see if he can gain any ground overcutting as well. What really helped Martin was who being held up by Yasser Latinen's Friesland, basically. And just coming out behind him made the difference there, I think. And the gap now about is 2 seconds between them as Chris Butcher comes in. Oh
dear, that's Kozowski. Kozowski will have to pit for repairs, so he will drop to 20th, the last of the runners so far, with I think Miram out of the race recently also. That's devastating for Kozowski to have that kind of damage. You cannot sustain that around Monza under any circumstances, so let's try and figure out what occurred. So that's after Ascari. Yeah, that's a common fault, tripping point for the drivers who are not careful at the outside curbs there. Yeah.
It's destroyed the rear suspension as well because the steering is completely out of alignment. So it's going to be a long stop for the second of the Hyperion. Zabinski, though, still running in the top 9, having a very, very impressive race. Still ahead of Vincent Gert by a second then. So I think Zabinski is still looking good to score in the top 10 as we cut to Ockenhaug trying to go around the outside of Yasser Latinen. But unfortunately, just misjudging it there, letting the rear hang out mid, which is not really what you want in the middle of a chicane, because this lets the other guy take advantage as we see Lahoo in trouble. And he lost his front wing. Has he done exactly what we just saw Kozowski do?
Yeah, it's definitely a plausible situation, but yeah, I dread to see what people be saying in the chat, because it's just typical Alex. Something has gone terribly wrong. His bid to win and benefit, or even to benefit from the reverse grid, it's gone now. So this will be an absolute gut wrencher for the lad. But he'll try to repair and go again. Maybe change it to softs and just play for pride, or else he has to retire, one or the other. But let's see. Yeah, this is Ascari. And yeah, it's precisely the same thing, and it does take a little while to unsettle the car. But onto the tarmac, he has bounced wide and into the wall.
But lucky he didn't collect either of the Alpha Deltas there. They were inches away. And Frelick, he would have seen him messing up the entry ahead of him, and he'll be just thinking, I just need to get out of the way there. And yeah, Frelick also doing well to avoid that as well, because it happened immediately in front of him. That all of a sudden, TOP with Simon Frelick is only 2.7 seconds behind Carlos Martin, as Axel, who gets going again, down in 19th, as Rozak continues to struggle and now sees Jack Mayer just go around the outside of him. Mayer is having a fantastic recovery here. I imagine much to the annoyance of Simon Frelick, who was hoping to gain more points on him in the drivers.
Yeah, he will. In his mind, he'll be disappointed, knowing his ability to gain on the championship lead. It's still going to be sizable enough. Yeah, I wouldn't complain too much about a 14 to 15 point gain, but yeah, getting the win would make an enormous boost for his bid. Vincent Gutt now settling for a competition with Zabinski here. He's going to wait for DRS to open and then go for it. Zabinski responds by sitting now in the middle of the track, so Vincent is readying for the inside line. Can he get it done? He is on the soft tires. Oh, Matthews doesn't want to concede just yet. I will have a difficult time into Curva Grande, to be honest. The grip should be on Vincent's side. Let's see how they cope. Whoa, that is close.
Yeah, just going to get as alongside as he can in the apex. And back comes out ahead before Rettivilio too. So some tough stuff from Matthias Zabinski, as we see Rozak continuing to be attacked now by Chris Butcher, who of course is on very, very fresh soft tyres here, having pit late in the race. And it's a similar thing with Frelick as well. He's got fresher tyres. He's been going half a second faster than Carlos Martin on that previous lap too. The big gainer in all the pit stops is Frank Hamming, who's actually gotten himself into the top 6 pit about 4 laps ago. He's in a very lovely, clean bit of track. 7 seconds to Harvey in front of him. But Hamming has gone from 20th to 6th. I think he'll be very, very satisfied with that.
Yeah, he certainly will. Frank just has that incredible nous just to routinely finish in the points. It stretches all the way back to Spain. That was when the sequence began, and it's set to continue if he can see out the remaining laps. So yeah, fair play to Frank, and let's see if he carries it on, because his team, HGP, will be extra grateful for even more points.
Meanwhile, we see Lucchini desperately trying to keep up with Simon Frelick, but Frelick, while he keeps catching Martin, I don't think he's catching him quickly enough with 6 laps to go. As we see, LeHou sets the fastest lap of the race, 1:30.3, but still down in 18th. He's only gained 1 position then, so LeHou, it's a little bit of all as we see the Netrex and the TOP of Watson and Mayer side by side then, and that's Mayer that's got the inside. Mari can do nothing to keep him at bay as they go into Lesmo 1 there. But Jack Mayer, wow, he's just absolutely on a mission here.
That is certainly the case, but Vincent Gutt has since lost the position back to Zabinski. I'm not sure what happened there. But yeah, with Gutt on the soft tires, he might still prove a challenge for Mayer. This is Butcher, having completed that long stint onto what is now the soft tires. He does make a solid move there on Rorschach, and maybe he could challenge Watson before too long.
Quite possibly, yeah. I think because Watson hit with a lot of the rest of them much earlier on the mediums, so he's going to be at distinct disadvantage. Chris Butcher could well make it 2 Lunarks in the top 10 if he could potentially even catch up to Mayer, but that is a tall order given how well Mayer's been going in recent history. Is Vincent Gutt then trying to counter-attack on the Hyperion of Zabinski, who is the driver, of course, that Hyperion's all their hopes in this race rest on now with his teammate retiring. Watson tries to fend up the inside, and there's that Jack Mayer cutting the chicane.
Yeah, he was very unsettled and almost deja vu there. Well done, Chris Butcher, for anticipating that, and he carries on his battle full of courage. And can he get the inside on Watson? Yes, he can. That's P10 out of nowhere, really. So well done to Chris Butcher there, securing 2 positions in quick succession.
When I said Chris Butcher could maybe get into the top 10, I didn't think he'd just immediately have that happen to enable him to make that happen. But fair play. Butcher was really on it there. It was really unfortunate. Mayer, obviously, there's less grip there because few people just take to the ramp. Yeah, you saw he lost it on the brakes, got out very early there. So Mayer, he had to make those decisions very, very quickly, and indeed did so. And luckily learning from the previous occasion and playing it as safe as he could on the outside there. Still, that could have come a different way if they weren't careful. 5 laps to go. The gap up front, 1.8 between Martin and Frelick, although 1.5 now, as Frelick is absolutely pushing.
Yeah, there's determination for Frelick to keep going, regardless of the threat behind. Just he needs to keep whittling down the gap and maybe catch some DRS late on into the race.
Harvey in trouble. Harvey's making another pit stop as we see Watson getting defensive from Rozak and Mayer.
That is absolutely the case. Thomas Harvey's had to pit a second time here, and that will rule out points for him for the moment. He's actually behind LeHou. So yeah, a lot of extraordinary laps need to take place here for Harvey to gain the 10 seconds on Latinen. Oh dear, that's wide for the Build Sim driver. Mayer does benefit. Riboli does not. He's stuck behind Rorschach. But DRS could help him out on his home race as he subs in for Wopke Hoekstra.
Yeah, Jack Mayer did not look impressed whatsoever with Patrick Rozak there. Gave a little weave to show exactly what he thought of that. But yeah, he's clearly felt that the built-in didn't really need to go around driving like that. As we see Latinen retire from the race, which is a big shame for the Friesland man.
Yeah, that is another devastating blow for one of the teams who would be just excited to, continue the battles for the low points position. Yeah, they just have to carry on for race 2 and see what happens next. Yeah, there we go. You can see Frelick is still closing the gap on Martin. Replay coming up, and that's the incident. Yeah, DRS is almost within reach for Freilich, but yeah, Lattinen got stuck in the Lesmo 2 gravel and decided that was too much to recover from. Yeah, just the inside curb and thrown the car into a loop.
Oh, that's
no!
Lucchini at Lesmo 2. He just got out of Lesmo 1, went too wide, and that's handed Russo third place. So clearly he was pushing too hard to keep up with Simon Freilich. The front wingers parted company. So Frank Hamming, incredibly, going to finish in the top 4 here, because surely Lucchini is heading for the pits now.
Yeah, he'll just take whatever racing line he can. The turn in is now compromised, so Frank Hamming should be fully clued in as to what's going on here. Lucchini, in fairness, will be able to go quickly on the straights. Yeah, he's going to merge high and give and yield as much as he can before turning into the pits. So let's check out this replay, courtesy of Heigo Poom, in race in the broadcast cameras. Oh, Lesmo 1. Oh dear, that's just a gentle tap. Yeah, he would have recovered otherwise.
You could tell he thought he was just clear of the wall, got on the power, and then suddenly, I'm right in the wall. That's so a horrible feeling when that sort of thing happens to you. And you saw, in fact, he wasn't even that close to Freilich as well. I think he was settling in for third place. The rear just went down on him, and he couldn't save it in time. That's really unfortunate for Alpha because a lot of points are going begging now. I hope Russo can bring it to the end now.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Zubinski versus Gut carries on for yet more laps, heading towards the end with 3 to go.
And that's Butcher behind them on much fresher tyres as well. So if these two trip over each other, Chris Butcher can take advantage.
Yeah, that is true. But Zubinski will get the DRS off Gut, and that will help him out. Chris, he won't be able to take the inside. He's got to stay high. And Vincent Gut in now the awkward position. There we go, Zubinski through. Butcher has to stay put, and with Amari Watson checking out this battle, he'll close right in and create a 4-way duel. Butcher in probably the most uncomfortable spot. Vincent Gut wants the position back. Here's the chase onto the start-finish straight. Watson will be highly rewarded here for his track position. He won't notice it straight away, but towards the braking zone he will. There you go, triple slipstream. 3 wide, Zubinski blocks the inside, and Butcher collides. Nowhere else for them to go. Gut is obviously alert to the trouble behind him and has to take the run off. Watson will burst through, and he gains 3 places.
That was really, really unfortunate there. Butcher just got it wrong there, I think, at this hit, or got caught out and potentially by it. Zubinski did just hit the back of him, and then Vincent Gut just had to take the run off to avoid. And Watson, steering clear of it completely, has gained a triple free positions. I was trying to use a different word than free there. Yeah. Liberal free positions. Tres. I can't remember Italian for free. But that's Spanish, sorry. Here we go, Butcher. Okay, he makes the move on Gut to the inside, he is, and then does the Hyperion just come across? Yeah, the brake, he just got the braking wrong. And maybe the Hyperion braked a little bit too early, but that was just really, really messy, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's so difficult. We've even seen the Super League in the past, drivers making contact into the braking zone of turn 1 and causing a collision. There you go. From Watson's point of view, he is straight away privy to the incident and takes the corner as intended. But yeah, it was unlucky for Gut. He had to go to the runoff. Zubinski has a little bit more pace before he has to turn into the pit. So there goes Jack Mayer at the back of the queue. He is through, but Riboli and Roshak have been dueling away lap after lap also. Mayer could even get a top 10 and get 6 points, so yeah, that should be accurate this time. Freilich though is within reach. He has clawed the deficit down, and it could be
And
a
he's the final
photo
lap.
finish.
Here we
This
go
is
to the
so
outside of
important.
Ascari. Oh, he's done it! Fabulous
Oh
stuff
my
from
word. Maybe Martin feels he has the pace on the slipstream, but yeah, his tyre's not as healthy as Freilic's. So the strategy call was brilliant in fairness to TOP, and Freilich will maximise his haul, gaining 5 extra points on the final lap if he can avoid being counter-attacked. Here we go, through the Parabolica. The gap is significant by Monza standards, and Freilich back on the top step of the podium, and his momentum is rolling and rolling on. Carlos Martin absolutely crestfallen, I'm sure, to lose the lead with 4 corners to go. Maritz Kropp, in fairness, will be chuffed with a P5, and Hamming as well, a contender for driver of the day, finishing in the top 4 after qualifying outside the top 10. And Jack Mayer stays 11th, so he won't be able to make a game. But Thomas Harvey having a double pit stop, trying to go around the outside of Christer Svillo, and Svillo was lost, unfortunately. I think there might have been a touch that unsettled their own GP car, and that is very costly. Ockenhag has also triumphed there. He takes an extra point, and Svillo will be another driver with agony in his heart.
Yeah, it certainly was a bit of a race of survival at points here at Monza. And it's such a narrow track at points. It's so easy to just get the wheel onto the grass. But here we go. This is the crucial move then. So Martin knows Freilich is all over the back of him, can see him in his mirrors, tries to go for the middle of the road, knows that the TOP has got the outside line as we come back to a little bit earlier down the straight. See it again then. And at this point, Martin knows he's going to be vulnerable, has to stick to the inside, and there was just nothing he could do. The DRS just that little bit too powerful, and you saw him trying to get the run for Ascari, but again, the grip just not there. There was only a lap's difference. I think they only pit a lap or 2 apart from one another, Martin and Freilich, but that was really what made the difference, of course. Freilich pitting onto the mediums, and Martin, I believe, doing the same.
Yeah, they're both on the soft to medium strategy. Yeah, Freilich picked his moment right under the bridge, and his overspeed, over 300 kilometers per hour, was the crucial factor in that. And there'll be huge celebrations in the Freilich camp. He'll be alert to reverse grid to see what might happen. So there's Harvey versus Svillo. Oh, Svillo did touch the slight AstroTurf sort of spot, and that caused him to spin. So Harvey profited there. Mutual respect there from Freilich, and I think that is Lahou, who has managed to consolidate that crash from earlier, and he gets 12th as a matter of fact. So
yeah, only 2 seconds behind Jack Mayer, actually, Lahou. So
yeah.
What a recovery. You got to feel for that, I think, with incident, because if it wasn't for that, who knows what could have happened. There could easily have been a podium in it for Lahou. I think maybe Freilich would have got him as well, like we saw. But even still, I think he can. It certainly bodes well for race 2, where we know Lahou always excels.
Absolutely. So there is the classification. Freilich, Martin, and Russo on the podium. So yeah, Russo, I have to compliment him as well for a job well done. Hamming, Kropp, Watson, Butcher, Gut, Roshak, and Raboli in the top 10. So Italy, obviously the loss of Lecchini's podium bid will serve as a bit of a disappointment. But yeah, good day overall for the Italians. Jack Mayer, championship leader, P11, with Alex Lahou's comeback drive proving to be worthwhile in 12th. Harvey, Ockenhag, and Svillo complete the points, but in Svillo's case, he'll be disappointed to have lost out on extra points. Lecchini, 16th, nothing for him, unfortunately. Fuentes, Zubinski, and Gazowski are the remaining finishers. So Latinen for P20 was DNF with 5 to go. And the other drivers that failed to finish, Perseus Miram, Jan Dragoon, David Wasserman, and Mike Quint, who had a hardware failure, as he confirmed in our Discord. So yeah, that is absolutely devastating for Mike Quint. The end of his championship bid in all likelihood. There we go. We do have the possibility of chatting to Menno Clant during this cool down period, so I might just give him a little bump to say if he wants to join us or not. But otherwise, we'll take a very quick break and join us again for race 2. Welcome back, everybody. The final warm-up before race 2 is just taking place, but just a little bit of a treat for everybody. Joining us very generously in the booth for a quick chat, it's Motorforce GP number 14, Menno Clant, who is unfortunately feeling unwell but has been helping out some of our drivers today. So, Menno, what were your thoughts on that first race?
Yeah, well, luckily I can at least be here for a while. Maybe I sound a bit sick because I am.
You sound
yeah,
lovely, Menno, don't worry.
oh, really well. It was an interesting race from what I saw in race 1. You saw quite a bit of gaps, but a lot of differences in strategies. But a lot of drivers going on the harder tire at the start and some at the softer tire at the start. I think in the end maybe yeah, of course the softer tire at the beginning was I think the better tire, but yeah, if you were down on at the grid then of course the harder tire was better so that you could attack in the second part of the race. So it was a cool race with actually quite a bit of drama. Yeah.
And plenty of drama. Yeah. Were there any sort of mid-race decisions that a driver took that was perhaps against the grain and maybe paid off or didn't work out?
Yeah, what I found it very interesting that some drivers were actually pitting really early. I believe Jack Mayer pitted quite early. Yeah, it didn't seem to have the pace we kind of expect from him. So there's actually not a reverse grid yeah, pole for him now, but yeah. We shall see what happens in race 2. For myself, I'm a bit happy now I can race that car number 14 from Monza Force actually scored 2 points. So that at least is something. That's also hard work from Magnus, who's doing, he's doing I think pretty well, but it's his steep learning curve for him. But yeah, also for him to get the idea how it is sim racing in this category. Of course, Magnus does a lot of racing in FS2, but this is then a different type of race. So now he knows a bit how this works. But yeah.
Any questions for Menno?
Not particularly that come to mind. It was certainly a last lap overtake between Martin being overtaken by Frelick. Do you think Frelick? The gap, I think, to 36 points in the championship when it was 56 going into that race. You think there's some pressure on Jack May? He didn't qualify particularly well, and that was really what led to that difficult first race. And Frelick is really started to rediscover. It's when we won race 1 in Spa as well in mixed conditions, let's not forget. So it really feels like Frelick has got back to his best right when he needed to.
Yeah, and I don't want to put pressure on Frelick, but he's a bit used to like he's very good at the next circuit, I believe. But we have, I believe, the next track would be Singapore, and it's Singapore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and from what I remember is he is always like better than on other tracks. I think Singapore and Shimon Frelick is let's say a good marriage. So. Yeah, now there is a bit of pressure for at Jack, but yeah, Jack still has got the lead, so yeah, he's to play it well, but maybe yeah, currently the odds are a bit for Shimon. I guess maybe he can actually close a bit more, and then yeah, it's all to play for. Yeah.
Really
shows but...
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Go ahead, Ed.
I was going to say it really shows how quickly it can all turn around, because it wasn't too long ago that Mayer was running away with the championship, was about 80 points, I think, ahead of Simon Frelick. And yeah, it's really just a few good races that have swung a few little mistakes that maybe were, like, you think race 2 at Spa as well, where Mayer stayed out on the dries when it started raining again, or was that race 1, I think? And he lost a potential 3rd or 4th place because of that, ended up finishing, I think, 6th in the end.
Yeah,
just little things like that can decide a championship. You never know.
Yeah, what I think as a viewer in the same championship. I think Shimon was quite unlucky in quite a few of the races. Well, it didn't went his way, while it could have had gone his way, and I think now he's got that luck a bit, while it goes a bit wrong for Jack. So yeah, it is still there, and I think they're both very motivated to get that crown, and yeah, will be very good to see who gets
Exactly.
it.
We do want to see a very, very close contest between the pair of them.
Yeah.
And I think TOP would be happy no matter who wins, I guess. And especially leading in the Constructors Teams Championship by a big margin. Come to think, we have got race 2 coming up pretty soon. Should we announce, Owen, who is on pole position then? Because I think you and I have both seen the draw, and we know which numbers come
I've
up.
seen the draw, so please be my guest.
I was bigging you up to do it, but I guess I'll do it then. It is, of course, Omari Watson for Netrex. So we're going to see Netrex. Well, they didn't. Actually, it was Lahu started on pole in the first race, but we're seeing Netrex again starting near the front, hoping to control things. So, what do you make, Heigo, of Omari Watson's chances in this race 2? Because he could certainly do with a confidence boost of winning. He definitely had a strong recovery in that first race, and certainly a win would be a big boost for him, because I think he's come very close to winning a couple of times this season, but it's been Carlos Martin, his teammate, that's got the 4 wins for Netrex so far this season. Yeah, I think his best finish was second in race 2 at Spain, I think, so far this season.
Yeah, and Canada as well.
I forgot about Canada.
Yes. Guys, very best of luck with commentating race 2. I'm watching as in the team pit box again, so the very best for that. Let's see what kind of cool race we'll have in race 2. Bye-bye.
Yeah, that's very much appreciated, Menno. Thanks so much for your time, and get well soon.
I hope to be there in 2 weeks, so let's see.
All the best. We hope to be commentating on you if we can.
Yeah, ideally, we'll have a team for the broadcast ready to go in fortnight, but it is race 2 rather than thinking about a fortnight. So it is Omari Watson taking pole position. Hopefully my internet holds out this time. Maritz Kropp has also secured a front row start with the reverse grid. Frank Hamming, perhaps this is his moment after a beautiful drive in the first race on a lowly grid position. P4 for Federico Russo. Carlos Martin and Shimon Freilich, the battlers for the win, are now 5th and 6th. Chris Butcher and Vincent Gutt 7th and 8th. Rorschach and Raboli complete the top 10. Also plenty of feisty battles await with Mayer and Lahu 11th and 12th. Similarly, we've Thomas Harvey, Magnus Okenhag and Christopher Svillo. No love lost between them as they were going ding-dong to the very end. Mirko Licchini has redemption on his mind after losing that podium. Juanma Fuentes, Matthew Sabinski with his teammate Gozowski in 19th and Jassi Latinen in 20th. Perseus Miram and David Wasserman complete the grid. It's worth noting that Mike Quint has not been able to repair his hardware issue in time and will not take place or not take part in this race. So that's a double blow for Mike and indeed the Multiforce team as a unit. So yeah, it is down to Okenhag to keep Multiforce's ambitions alive here, Ed.
Yeah, big shame then. And of course we go, Menno is ill. Mike Quint is still having those hardware issues, which is it's a big shame because Mike Quint, like I said, was leading the champ. It's really ever since he missed Silverstone and missed a couple of races, and he's had horrific luck, I think, ever since his championship campaign has kind of fallen apart on him, which is a big shame. But certainly if see Mike Quint back in Singapore, I think he could certainly recover his season and at least end on a high. But as for this, it's going to come down to our front row into the first corner of Watson and Kropp. I think Moritz Kropp really fancies his chances. Now, Omari Watson's very much going to need his wits about him here. He's going to be under attack from the pair behind him.
Yeah, and we did see Shimon Freilich make the most out of his soft tyres in the first stint, and he went just that little bit longer. But I'm sure there's a greater division in tyre choice now. We'll make absolutely sure what each driver has gone for. But if Watson has chosen softs, then he has a chance to get a blistering getaway. So the lights will be on Obviously, this camera angle a bit deceiving, and the release is coming. It's coming. There it is. So let's see what Watson can do with the soft tires. Lawrence Kropp slots in, and Frank Hamming, who wants to continue his streak of points. He's going to watch out on the outside with Martin, though. Yeah, Watson has got a good clean getaway. Kropp is kicking up dust, I think. So, oh no, that is that's the TCS off, I think, was it?
Lahoo up to 8.
Lahoo, yeah, it could be Lahoo. Yeah, Watson, great getaway. Kropp following as close as he can. Martin third, and Butcher for Lunark. So Lunark 2-4. Oh, trouble there. That's Netrex in trouble. Martin, yes, Martin has lost it. Oh goodness, so he won't get a chance at the victory after all. This Build Sims Rorschach gaining a lot of positions now. HGP, I think, yeah, that is Hamming. He's lost the positions as well. So goodness gracious, Freilich up to third.
And crucially, Lahoo and Mayer from 11th and 12th up to 5th and 6th. So big gains on the opening lap, just staying out of trouble. Pair of them, and Lahoo actually ahead of Jack Mayer despite starting behind him.
Yeah, but Watson, yeah, this is a huge benefit to him going for the softer compound early on. Kropp has to be a bit patient and now wait for a potential pit stop, because these softs shouldn't really make 18 laps around here unless there is a very, very astute tire whisperer among the drivers today. But there we go, a great opportunity here for Watson to carry on building that lead. Russo has unfortunately been knocked down a peg. Here's Okenhag, though. He's trying to get past Dubinsky. He's got to watch out behind him, because that's the other Alpha Delta in Lucchini. So here's the Curva Grande. So now we'll see how Alpha Delta do with their driver pairing. Down the inside on Hamming. Yes, that's a solid move. Can he block? Yeah, that looks like a completion. And a bit of a slowdown there into the chicane. So yeah, Frank Hamming, it's probably been the worst bit of luck for him for quite some time.
And Chris Butcher really kind of had difficulties there, and I think he's dropping down the order completely. We saw him going really slowly there at Retafilio too. As you say, here he is, dropped down to 20th, and that is the Wasserman he's alongside with then as they come on the long run towards Ascari. And it looks like Wasserman has got the inside line. Good move, actually, by David Wasserman to get himself into the top 19. And Chris Butcher, very, very unhappy. That immediately cuts to the inside, using his experience to his advantage here on the TCS off rookie next to him. Going to try and go around the outside then into Parabolica, Michele Alboreto, and there we go. So very, very clean driving. Wasserman was very, very compliant, I dare say so myself. And definitely eager not to blow a decent top 20 and crash out early on in this race too. But the interesting thing here is, looking on the mediums, how long can he get them to run, Eoin? Because if he can get to the end, that's a big advantage. Fuentes! Oh, just loses it. And that was him going side by side, one of the Rowan GPs. I think that was Silvo.
Yeah, Spillo, yeah. It might have been Spillo.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, we really need to nail down his pronunciation. I know that's one we've got to work on. So yeah, I apologise, Christers. Fuentes has the chance to just put that to the one side and defend from Miram, and then go for the attack on Latinen. But Jack Mayer, this is important for his ambitions to get by Patrick Rorschach. You know, he's a very dependable driver on his day. The DRS.
Rorschach. It's the guy he collided with, wasn't he?
Yeah, there was a bit of bumper cars between the two of them. But yeah, the DRS on the build sim definitely helped him out. Let's see if Mayer can build the attack with DRS opening again now that lap 4 is just about to begin.
Yeah. Lahoo has already cleared him, actually, and look at him. Lahoo's got his sights on Simon Freilich, who's only about 1.3 seconds ahead of him. Lahoo could get onto the podium here in race 2, considering he started 12th. be incredible as we see side by side one of the Alpha Deltas. That's Russo making a move on Thomas Harvey, is it? And Harvey has to get very defensive then. He's almost protecting Vincent Gutt at this stage.
Yeah, that is quite something else there to see how that fares. Watson, he has gained a little bit of time this lap around, so yeah, if he can get another 3 or 4 tenths on Moritz on this lap, that will give him a very impressive position. Jack Mayer still following behind Rorschach. Lehou up 8 places, so he's one of the best gainers from the starting grid. Surely the best. I haven't seen anyone else with a higher number in the green. So for the moment, Lehou can just concentrate with that clean air in front of him. He won't have to duel with Freilich for the moment. Mayer's objective is just to stay behind Rorschach while the DRS train is still chugging along.
Crucially, from a championship perspective, we've still got Freilich only 3 tenths behind Kropp actually, and looking to gain yet more points on Jack Mayer. The gap is 35 points or so, and Freilich is right behind the Lunark, which remember is on the medium tyres, so might not have to stop again. But Freilich, just comfortably clears him. Going to set off after another Netrex for the win. It's a deja vu. It's a rerun of race 1.
Yeah.
Owen.
Yeah, very much so. Netrex, their hopes were dashed so late on by Freilich, and they won't want to repeat, that's for sure. But let's check out the replay of the race start. This is Chris Butcher's on board. He will have Jack Mayer there to his right, and he'll be following along to see what happens in front of him. So that would be most likely, there's a bit of contact hamming, and that would have been Martin of course. Yeah. So he's through Butcher.
There too.
Yeah, so we'll get the exact fallout of what happened on lap 1. Butcher, he's got the driver in position in his mirrors, but goodness.
Another late braking maneuver from Butcher, because this is exactly what happened in the battle with, was it Zabinski, wasn't it? In race 1 as well.
Yeah, the turn into the first corner, that's exactly what happened, yeah.
Martin, I think, innocent victim here. He minded his own business, was looking to maybe get top 6, top 5, and then suddenly, gets hit the back. Suddenly facing the wrong way and flying over the curb. Does well to collect himself as soon as he does that.
Yes.
Martin is still in 10th, actually. His Freilich has actually set fastest lap of the race, 1:30.9, and Murray Watson's last lap, 1:31.2.
Yeah, and now this is Juanma Fuentes. We saw him get loose at the first corner. Can we diagnose what happened? Yeah, it's a tank flapper from the rear. Got totally lopsided, and all but one driver was able to overtake him. We're now back to live coverage, and Jack Mayer continues to follow. Martin has P10 at the moment. You have to just see him behind Federico Russo in the background, so it's certainly still in play for Martin. Butcher is a long way back. I think he slowed down even more because he realised his mistake. He's 18th, so I will say for Butcher it was the right thing to do, just to make sure Martin got through. But now here's Riboli, who got a top 10 to a saver in race 1, currently 13th and battling with his countryman Lucchini, and Zabinski will be giving the HGP that DRS boost, so it does help him in his defence. But similar case here in P6 and P5 with Alex Lehou giving the DRS to Rorschach.
Yeah, and Rorschach has done really well to hold up Jack Mayer as long as he has, and side by side go Lehou and Moritz Kropp then for a position in the race, and Lehou has surely got the inside here, and the softs still performing well compared to the mediums then, so really Moritz Kropp has really got to hope these guys pit sooner rather than later, because he could well be racing them again come the end of the race.
Yeah, I think it was about lap 11 or 12 when we saw the key contenders for race 1's victory pitting for the tire change, so they might want to extend the stint a little bit longer, or maybe someone won't want to try the undercut again. But Mart's crop at the moment just has to stay cool. I think the team know the benefits of the strategy, provided they stay on the straight and narrow. But yeah, Watson last lap around did gain a tiny bit on Freilich. He needs to keep that 2-second advantage in the pocket at the very least. But Mayer starting to throw his best pitches at Rorschach. I think, yeah, this is his prime opportunity, Ed. He's going to have to run down just a little bit before Parabolica. Being so close, yeah, he could stick it around the outside and try cutting in for DRS. So let's see what he does. Loose on the turn in, and then even a bit of a wiggle there for Mayer himself. So Rorschach, I think, yeah, as a matter of fact, Crop could be giving him the get out of jail free card.
Exactly, yeah, he's giving him lots of toe and a big DRS to use as well, and actually gets really defensive, almost into the wall by Moritz Krop. I'm not sure he quite meant to do that. Rozak on the inside at the first chicane. Krop holds his ground, and Jack Mayer is surely going to take advantage of this if Rozak is delayed here.
Yeah, from my vantage point, that was absolutely terrifying stuff. Yeah, thankfully both drivers are still carrying on, but this could be Rorschach's opportunity. Yeah, he's going to do it. Needs to get the second turn in though. Mayer though, it could be a cut in before Lesmo won. He's got to do it, and he's got to do it now. Watching in the background for Vincent Gutt as well.
This is disastrous for Krop because he's just losing lots of time to Watson in all this battling. Now the two Spark racing cars are going to start attacking him. He was 4 seconds behind the previous lap. Now he's 5.3 seconds behind Omari Watson. So the more he drops back, as we see Harvey go side by side with Vincent Gutt, and Vincent lets him through.
Yeah, polite cooperation there. Thomas Harvey needs to stay in touch with Jack Mayer for his own Drivers' Championship goal. But yeah, it is Mart's Crop in the middle of this sandwich though. But we'll see a proper fight now between Rorschach and Mayer. There is no more benefit for Rorschach being all on his own. 10 laps to go, as Watson had crossed the line just a little while ago. And here we go. It's Vincent Gutt on the counter attack though on his teammate. Could he be blocking the approach from Russo? Let's see what he does. Now he's actually left himself a little bit exposed.
Or does well not to barge into the side of Russo as they go side by side on exit and into Curva Grande then. But the Alpha Delta, the Italian, he's got the inside here. Carlos Martin is waiting in the wings. Somehow, despite being spun around, was caught right back up to this fight, which could well work him into the top four. Depending on how things work, that's ambitious. Will he get enough room? Oh, just enough. No room for Russo. Round he goes.
And he does keep the rear tire spinning in his teammate.
Just missed his teammate.
Yeah, if it was anyone else but his teammate, he might have been able to respond in time. But Russo, yeah, he was alert to what was going on, and as was his teammate, Lucchini. So Lucchini through. He will take the baton for his Alpha Delta team. But Carlos Martin will have a pep in the step now, because he can go straight down the inside and do unto Vincent what he had suffered in race 1. But watch out for the Parabolica approach, because perhaps his exit out of Ascari wasn't optimal.
Yeah, still got to worry about the spark on the inside, but Vincent, he's not going to do a marginal move from that far back, especially if the rear tyres are starting to complain here, because this is the pit stop time for the soft runners. This could be where Moritz Krop starts to prosper if people ahead start to come in and he can stay out. But yeah, Frank Hamming, though, is now dropped to 12.9 seconds behind the lead. So he's going to be in real trouble when all these soft runners pit come out right behind him. And they're going to make ground up pretty quickly. As we see, there's Russo watching his teammate and the Hyperion of Zabinski, who's cut the chicane completely to avoid Russo when he had spun around on the previous lap. Now the two Alpha Deltas working together then to outfox the Hyperion. But Zabinski will not be making himself a pushover here, will he, Eoin, as they go into the chicane once more?
No, Zabinski's every opportunity to perhaps make the most out of this situation, but no, it's quite the opposite. The teamwork has paid dividends, and Riboli in the background. Yeah,
around the outside.
Yeah, very smart move. Because Zabinski has to try again with Riboli, another Italian, also waiting in the wings. But back to the top 6 battle. Thomas Harvey occupying 7th. He has he's on course to overtake Crop, but surely these soft tires are almost out of their key performance, and they'll start dropping off a little bit. But Harvey, perhaps this is his last chance to make sure he has track position on the Lunark. And then the objective will be to try and beat Rorschach. If pit stops are required, they may try something a little bit different to find the gap. Harvey's actually going to stay locked behind Martz.
Yeah, this is a very, very tense stalemate then. Rory Watson still lapping in the 31.6s. Frelick sets a 31.5, as does Lahoo. And Crop sets a 31.9. Sort of clear air, but now Harvey is going to try and swoop around the outside to Rettivilio. Will there be enough space given he can't afford to lose any time, Moritz Crop, so he sort of has to back out, goes side by side as they go into Lesmo 1. Surely Harvey's got the line, and 6th place is his. So that's the problem with Crop, because he knows he can stay out, or the people they've got to be. He can't really afford to just lose time but fighting these people who he's not really fighting with in this race.
Yeah, Maritz's battle is on strategy. There's little to be gained with ding-dong battles against these soft tire runners. Here's one such example early on where it's absolutely, that is cold brown stuff. Rorschach, though, was able to stay away from the barrier, and after the rundown from Curva Grande onwards, he was able to secure the pass. So yeah, that's the fine margins between survival and what would have been a horrific crash.
We should also point out that Jack Mayer, who is behind at this point, has been able to get past Rozak since. So some bravery, some bold moves there. But Rozak now sort of is fighting to hold on to 5th, and Harvey is not too far behind now that he's cleared Moritz Crop. But there we go. There's Russo being tagged around just after as well in his little battle. And there you see Zabinski just cutting across in the back. So either Zabinski made his own mistake, or he saw Russo go around from quite a long way back and thought, better steer clear of that one.
Yeah, he'll probably get the benefit of the doubt. He took, if he did take to the runoff voluntarily, he could say, I was trying to avoid an accident. And I would probably agree with that, personally.
And look at the rear
Maritz, yeah.
Not behaving. I wonder if this is really going to work out, because the softs are still holding up pretty well. If Watson can build up a big enough lead, he's got enough cars in between him. Even if the softs start to fade in these final 6 laps or so, I think Watson might be okay here.
Yeah, certainly the potential, because you would have known by now Freilich was cutting the gap by enough, but so far it's only a 1/10 of a second each way, so not enough compared to what we saw Freilich achieve in the first race. Martin, though, I think he'll be itching to make a pass here. Hopefully those mediums are still going. The disaster would be if they were burned out so severely because of his high grid slot and having to battle with so many other drivers.
Yeah, here we go then. So Martin, who had a big spin of his own earlier on, is now right behind. 2 tenths then, the gap as they cross the line. But it was actually a personal best first sector for Crop, so I think he was just pushing that a little bit too hard, because he sort of sensed that maybe Lunark have got the call wrong here. We thought they got it right and everyone ahead of him would just come in, but the tyre wear has been so low here at Monza. The temps, it's only it's 40-degree track temperature, but 24-degree temperature, ambient temperature. So the temps haven't really been high enough to make wear an issue here today, and Lunark have really paid the price for that.
Yeah, and that is a severe blow, because I know how good they were in previous rounds, such as Spa, of course. But yeah, I think this has bucked the trend. I thought it was a smart call, but yeah, it may need a very, very late turnaround to endure. Yeah, there we go. Watson actually gained a little bit. Ragged edge stuff again here for Martin. He's not going to let up anymore after the incident earlier with the other Lunark in Butcher, so this is no love lost territory. Oh, and Crop is loose into Parabolica. Martin won't even need the DRS, and Maritz will be isolated now. I suppose maybe the detection zone has spared him. I thought the detection zone a little bit further back, but Crop has actually made that work, Ed.
Yeah, almost a strategic error, but Carlos Martin, such is the pace of the softs, he's still there on the inside into the first chicane then, as there's a yellow in the third sector for some reason or other. But no disaster seems to have popped up on screen. Latinen retired some time ago. I think he's the only retirement in this race. But look at Moritz Krop having to just drive on the tips of his toes to sort of looking at his wing mirrors constantly. As Martin again has a little look up the inside, and now Vincent Gutt is all over the back pair of them and getting involved in this battle.
Yeah, it'll just be interesting for Guts. He knows his teammates' pace. It's probably beyond him today, but if he can get P7 out of this, I'd say that'll be a solid job. Here we go. Maritz Krop could be he could be safe for the moment here. You see Martin can't really get enough of a run up this ascent. Vincent Guts sticking to the apexes very neatly. And there we go, a little bit of a gravel kick up there by Martin, but it was absolutely on the limit, so no problems there. Will be a repeat of what we saw a lap ago. Will Maritz be able to get the turn in correct? Yeah, I think, yes, just about. So he needs to be wary of the runoff as well. That can cause a bit of a loose unsettlement of the car, I should say.
I think TOP is starting to struggle on their tyre work, as Mayer and Frelick have not set particularly great lap times last time around. Brozak all over the back of Mayer, as up the inside goes the Lunark of Moritz Krop to try and defend from Martin, but Martin forces his way through. He's going to have to go the long way around at Curva Grande, and now Vincent Gutt is going to slipstream the pair of them side by side. They bang wheels. This is brilliant stuff, and Vincent Gutt is surely trying to just get a way through that doesn't involve hitting either of these drivers. And Martin again denied, again stuck on the inside with nothing he can do about it. I think even the softs aren't performing quite as well as they were a few laps earlier. So we are slowly starting to see the mediums just start performing that little bit better. But I think the delta has come just that little bit too late to really save Moritz Krop's race here. P7 is about the best he can do.
Yeah, it seems to be the case. Watson has a lead still over around the 2-second mark, so that is perfectly nailed on. Actually, Frelick has gained 0.2 of a second in the last sector. We see the Alpha Deltas. They were brimming with confidence after our original qualifying session, being 3rd and 4th. Now they're together 11th and 12th. They probably just want to get however many points and take it from there. Chris Butcher, who made the mistake on the opening lap, is within moments of a point. Christer Svillo has got to defend robustly there to keep his Rowan GP car in command. That's the lapped Ockenhag for Malta Force, so yeah, he is out of the way of everybody. No problem with the blue flag order. And maybe the DRS could have helped Maritz out a little bit there.
Yeah, it's helped Carlos just pull a little bit away from Vincent Gutt, hasn't it? Which is certainly not any harm to his race whatsoever. But see Thomas Harvey, look at the gap he's got between himself and Krop since passing him. It really shows you how much Martin has just been held up by the Lunark here. Oh, and a mistake.
That is it. That is it. Martin will have no more patience. He will take the inside, but now DRS.
He does.
Yeah, Martin has DRS. He's slow. Yeah, Martin has DRS, and he's not made it count. Guts is gonna go for the absolute risk here, but now he backs out. Oh, Maritz, be careful. Yeah, safe rejoin, and the driver behind is not competing for position. It's going to be Frank Hamming who needs to lap the Malta Force car and get in with this battle.
One on the mediums as well.
Yeah, another medium shod driver. Perhaps he's been able to conserve his tyres in the stint, and Maritz Krop, battling so many soft shorn runners, hasn't been able to do the same thing. So let's see what happens between those two.
Yeah, Hamming's actually passed both the Alpha Deaders really, really quickly, and now he's got a clear run at the Lunar. Could well drop Moritz out of the top 9. Not quite yet, so he's only really got 2 laps left then. So Frank Hamming, as expected, coming alive right at the end. But unfortunately, it's not going to be the main positions that he fights for. But he might be able to get that 9th off of Moritz Krop. If Krop has just pushed the mediums too hard, too early to try and hold track position. As yellow in sector 1, and is that Rosak in trouble?
It could very well be, yes. You're right, Ed. Yeah. And that is
right
Martin through. Yeah, Martin. His frustration is probably easing off a little bit. He knows he's gotten the fortune that he feels he deserves with the 2 drivers getting out of the way. And then Rosak has to defend from Vincent Gutt. Watching out in the background there as Hamming could line up in another attack. Oh no!
And that's Krop that gets tagged as well, though somehow manages to save that. But I think Vincent Gutt and Russo are all through, and Hamming as well. Hamming gaining loads of positions there, up to 7.
Yeah, that's more like it. But yeah, he's giving up the inside line to Vincent Gutt, and maybe he wants the counter-attack option. Yeah, that replay. Hopefully we'll get a better look to see exactly what occurred there. And Rosak's his day is done. Unfortunately, he's out of the race. Hamming has indeed made the switch back work. The long play.
Maybe he wanted DRS. Oh, look at this.
Oh my word. Oh, how about this with the Alpha Delta squad looking to see if they can get the Lunark out of the top 10. Yeah, it seems like Lucchini has the ability to break a bit later on the racing line. Moritz Krop, though, won't give it up easily. Oh, side by side hopping over the sausage curb. And Krop has, he's got to kick up the gravel. And it must be so frustrating for Ockenhag. He has to keep conceding the places back with all the ding dong battles taking place. And actually, Watson is moments away now from his long-awaited first win of the season. So it will be a happy ending after all that for Netrex. So here it comes. Amari Watson, 1.5 seconds to the good. He will cross the line and he can celebrate a long awaited victory, Ed.
Yep, fantastic for Amari Watson after so much bad luck this season. And Lehu also getting on the podium just behind Simon Frelick, who once more closes in on Jack Mayer in the Drivers' Championship. By the way, also we see Krop being let through, I think, at the end by Lucchini, because Lucchini has completely stopped somewhere on track down in 16th position now. He was fighting with for 10th, wasn't he, with Krop? So I don't know what happened there. I think Lucchini either let him through and then made another mistake, maybe, because it did look a bit like a racing incident when they went side by side through the chicane. I don't think that was advisable, but Lucchini clearly had some big issue there. But anyway, the big story there, we didn't talk much about Watson, but he didn't really put a foot wrong. Chose the right tyres, built the gap, nothing Simon Frelick could do in there.
Yeah, he was...
he spun it at Ascari. Seeing such calamity the lap before with Rosak spinning in front of everyone. Oh.
Yeah, there it is again, just a little clearer on the broadcast there. And he's got no way of doing his burnout safely until the last moment. And there's Rosak, the beginning of his... moment then? Yeah, that was the first moment. That was the first moment, and that probably burned the tyres beyond their capabilities. So here we come into Ascari. He's doing everything he can, watching the mirrors to see what could be approaching him. And yeah, his turn-in is spoiled completely, and he has a full 360 hitting the wall there, and his car was unable to continue. This is from Moritz Krop's point of view. Yeah, you can see, he's got us take to the... and yeah, there it is, a double! Yeah, so he got ping-ponged. That actually spared him, so thank goodness for the HGP that saved him.
Hamming the helper there. Unintentionally putting
he didn't want to help him. I'm sure he would have been more concerned about his own race and avoiding picking up damage, and I suppose it did work out. And there's the bounce across the curbs. That would have been really uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think we were sort of thinking he should have given that one up there, but looking on the replay there, I think him and Licini were just a bit too close for comfort there. I actually feel that maybe Moritz didn't do anything too wrong on that occasion, but he got the place back anyway because Licini spun it, so it all worked out in the end, I guess.
Yeah, so I just had
from the front row working out, but
yeah, I just had a quick peek, and Amari Watson, his last victory was Singapore 2022, so 11 months of waiting, but it's all over now. He can finally give his team that crucial success that will help them in the championship. Shimon Frelick, he'll be chuffed to have a first and a second today, giving him almost the maximum haul of points. Alex Lahu, thank goodness we saw his very best run again after the race one heartache. Jack Mayer, solid enough, getting through all that mayhem, and he has fourth place to call his own. Thomas Harvey following on in fifth position. Martin, I'd say he'll be feeling the pain of that first lap incident, but sixth place is still perfectly good. Hamming, Russo, Gut, and Kropp, unbelievable battles between those set of drivers, but it all settled down in the end. Yeah, Kropp perhaps will regret that strategy choice. Zubinski, Raboli, Butcher, Svillo, and Guzovsky collect the remaining points. Lucchini will feel that was another missed opportunity. Juanma Fuentes, in fairness to him, he had that turn one slide and he's recovered nicely. Wasserman, 18th, Miram, P19, and Ockenhag was a lap down, but he is classified in 20th. And the two drivers that retired from the race, Patrick Roszak via an accident, and Yassi Latinen. Didn't see what happened to him, but he did not make it to the end, unfortunately. So there we have it. 2 races down here in Monza and 4 championship rounds to go.
yeah, and it's going to be very, very interesting to see if Jack Mayer can strike back in the next few rounds with quite a Renan racer too there, sort of just trying to follow the Who past Rozak, and then Rozak the tires too hard near the end and caused an absolute mayhem near the end. Well, it seemed to happen around him, to be fair, because I think Moritz Kropp, I think, was going off no matter what, and it just so happened to be the most chaotic Ascari ever with 3 laps to go. But wow. Race one, we're going down to the very, very final lap between Martin and Frelick, and lots of stuff to remember, I think, from today. But we've still got some interviews to do now too, haven't we, Eoin? So we'll see. We'll wait for it to populate, I guess. Owen McGorgy wants to talk to us despite not competing in the race, but I guess representing TOP, he's pretty happy with how today went, I imagine.
A logical choice says race 1 winner and runner-up in race 2, Shimon Frelick. He'd be well worth a chat.
Let's drag Simon in then and hear what he has to say about his pair of races.
Welcome, Shimon. Very well done on both races today. What were your thoughts on your victory in race 1? Would you like to talk about that? Yes, loud and clear.
Can you hear you, Simon?
Yeah.
Then in race 2,
Yeah, we almost weren't expecting it when we cut to you, and then suddenly Carlos was just caught by you into Ascari. Do you think maybe pitting later, being on the fresher tires near the end, it was only a lap fresher, I think, than Netrex on Carlos Martin.
yeah,
It definitely felt like you had that little bit extra grip right when you needed it. Like TAP got the strategy pretty much spot on today.
Well, it was fractionally more grip, but I don't think it made up that much of a difference. It's all because of Carlos, I guess.
Simon, if you're speaking, I can't hear you. I'm afraid so.
All right, I can hear Mari.
Okay, it's just my end then.
So
Okay, no worries. Carry on.
yeah, I got the win because he messed up Lesmo too in some way. I didn't see how. I just saw him. I just saw a lot of dust. I'm like, okay, game on, I guess, and took the position. In race 2, I somehow ended up P3. Yeah, P3 after the second chicane because of the incident between Chris and Carlos. And yeah, from then on, I just passed Moritz, who was on hards. I was debating whether to go on softs or hards. The hards, I thought would be better, but last second the team convinced me to go on softs, which I think was the right decision. So thank you, Eoin and Jack.
Yeah, big call.
And yeah, I was trying to hunt down Omari, but he was just too quick, and he's just a good tire. He's good on tires, so he deserved that victory. I'm just happy to get a win, a second place, and a fastest lap. That's like 40 something points, 43, I believe.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
believe you've cut the gap in the championship, Simon, from 56 points. After race 1, it was about 35. I think after race 2, you've gained another 4 or 5 points on Jack. So actually, the gap's below 30 points now, which is pretty crazy considering how big it was just a few races ago.
It was
So
like
2
70.
race 1 wins in a row. It makes a big difference, doesn't it?
It was about 70 points, I believe, before Belgium, I think, even. So
Wow,
yeah,
so
I'm surprised with the combat. I'll try to do the best I can with it, but Jack's got
I would hope you
Jack's got how would you say, the better cards, and he has to play them well. And I think it's in his hands.
But you've certainly been doing an outstanding job lately, Simon. So congratulations on winning another race one and another second place here at Monza. And thanks for talking to us.
Yep, thank you.
Who else should we get in next, Eoin? I'm sorry about my audio dropping out, by the way, but I did fix that.
Understood, yeah.
Do you want me to get
I would like
Carlos
to
in?
talk to Carlos. Yeah, hopefully he can unmute himself. We can have a chat.
Right, we're joined now by second place man in race 1 and sixth place man in race 2. And that's, of course, NetRex's very own Carlos Martin, who we haven't had in a while because he missed Belgium. Carlos, congratulations on the podium in race 1 and the recovery in race 2. It looked like it was all out action for you pretty much every lap in both races.
I mean, race 1 was a pain because I had damage from a contact with Alex, and then pace started dropping. I saw the pace of Shimon getting 2/10 every lap, and then I did a stupid mistake, Lesmo 2, lost the race victory there. It was a shame, and then race 2, I can't understand it much. What happened into De La Rocha? It was, I don't
I
know.
believe Chris Butcher outbraked himself a little bit and made contact with the rear of your car.
Yeah.
May not have been his
saw,
fault.
but I just can't explain it. It's really weird. I don't know. We recovered. The car was, well, not in one piece, let's say. And tires, just the rear were destroyed. I just like, at some point there was a huge group in front. I couldn't catch them. I was like, yeah, okay, I'll sit here, and then once they start fighting, I'll say I'll be aggressive and I'll try to fish here and there. And yeah, I did fish. It was 3 rounds in a row with contacts and incidents in race 2. So let's hope next one it's safer. Good points. I'm very happy for Omari for the race victory. And yeah, today if the result of the team goes to Danny van den Niet. His father passed away exactly 1 year ago, and this special livery and today racing it goes for him and for his dad. Yeah.
Oh, that's really nice to hear, Carlos. Big fan of Danny van den Niet as well. Legendary NetRex driver as well. Much like yourself, of course, and he's been a teammate of you in many other championships as well. So I'm sure he'll be very happy to very moved, I think, like all of us are, to hear that, because Danny's obviously had a great relationship with his dad and very much missed even a year on. So great to see the livery commemorating that, and I think you were very, very well on it. Just a couple of questions I had. One, excellent choice to go for the softs in race 2. So even though you had the rears cooked from having to spin around, you at least were on the right compound, because the softs was performing so much better for about 85% of the race compared to the mediums. Then only right at the end there was a bit of a crossover. So NetRex, once again with both cars, made the right decision. And the second thing is probably the more important question is, you regret? We talked to Simon just now, and he said that he was able to catch so much to you and Alex because you were fighting each other. And given the way Alex's race panned out, unfortunately, in race 1, do you regret fighting so hard with him, or do you think he was a genuine threat and you had to keep that track position on him and keep, staying ahead of him before the pit stops?
Okay, so first question first. Regarding the tires strategy in race 2, I think it was really tight between both tires. The only issue is that pushing the hard, it just cooks a bit too much the front. The front gets a bit too hot, and I think from a perspective of a team that has really high top speed, because there were different also strategies regarding the aerodynamics here at Monza. We were one of the guys with less top speed, and then I think it was the other Italian team. Is it Epla? No. Russo
Alpha Delta.
Yeah, Alpha Delta. Yeah, ganz genau. Yeah, they had also less top speed, and then the rest they were, I guess, on rear wing 0. We were like rear wing 2 or so, or 3. I can't remember now. And yeah, I think for people who has more top speed, it was more interesting the soft, and for people who was having less top speed, I think hard was more interesting. Therefore, you can stick in the DRS still because you can, and then at the end just do a huge attack. When you are with in the spectrum of lower downforce, I think it was more complicated with the hard. And then regarding Alex, I was planning to go one lap longer than what I did. So I was planning to beat the same lap as Shimon. And when I saw Alex is crazy, man. Like, why did he do such a fast warm-up lap? Like, why? Like, I was lacking 0.1, 0.2 liters to make it to the pit box. I had Australia nightmares where I ran out of fuel just in the pit entrance. So I decided it was better to just attack because I was planning to go long. Again, going long here was the better choice. It was shown. It's a very long pit stop. It's very easy to find traffic. And yeah, we tried to go longer. And then when I saw I couldn't go as long as I wanted, it was better to fight. The only issue is that, he moved across in Parabolica once when we were really side by side. And then he touched my front end, and my front end was gone. And then is when the reason why I struggled so much the last stint, I didn't have any kind of front end. And I saw Shimon matching me in the middle sector where I was supposed to be faster. And I was like, yeah, this is going to be tight. Anyway, big congrats to Shimon. They performed really well, and to Mari and to the rest of the field. It was, I guess, fun to watch the list.
Definitely.
Yeah, it was great
I'm
watch.
sure Eoin will agree. And indeed he does. So thank you very much for coming to talk to us, Carlos. Best of luck Singapore in a few weeks' time. I believe I might actually have to miss that in commentary. So unfortunately, I won't get to interview you afterwards, which is a shame. But another great performance. I'm sure you'd be satisfied with another podium and a win for your teammate. I think that's a pretty good day's work, all in all, at your home Grand Prix, or the team's home Grand Prix. It's not Spain, of course.
Just to point out, we are the second team to score victories with both drivers. It just top esports and then goes Netrex. It just shows how competitive and how a team is important. We reacted late, but yeah, we reacted. And thanks again for the cameras and for the commentary. And yeah, it's always top to watch it the very next day. And I enjoy it so much. And big thank you for that, for all of you.
Oh, no worries. It's very kind of you, Carlos. I think you should well-earned break now after all the effort you've put in, not just today, but all the practice leading up to it as well.
Well, it's not so much. It's okay.
Oh, okay. Well, I was covering there just in case you hadn't practiced. So, of course, you practiced loads and loads.
Well,
Anyway.
I mean, I was in Germany until very short days ago. So yeah, I just came back, said, Omar, yeah, let's go testing. Let's head testing. Tested 3 days, I think, and yeah, the car felt good from the get-go. I told him he was going to win. He was faster than me. Shout out to that. He was faster than me at Hungaroring. I said it. He should have won. Then he was faster than me here too. Then he took at least the race to victory, which I'm very happy for him.
Absolutely. So the cards falling in your favor. Thank you very much for talking to us, Carlos Martin. We'll see you next time out at Singapore.
See you all. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Right, only a few left then. Chris Butcher, unfortunately, is left, but we still got Alex Lahou, Vincent Gutt, and Thomas Harvey, I think, waiting around. So we could try talking to Alex Lahou. Of course, was third in race 2 and was our pole sitter, so he's certainly got an eventful race. So let's drag him in, shall we?
Yeah, please do so.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Go ahead, Ed.
Sure thing, sorry. But now joined by our pole sitter, 12th place in race 1 and 3rd place in race 2. And that's, of course, France's very own, TCS Off Racing's very own, Alex Lahou. So, Alex,
yes,
be very bitterly disappointed with race 1. We joked about it at the time, didn't we?
Oh no!
About your infamous bad luck and how it seems to follow you around. But to be fair, you had amazing pace today. That qualifying session was absolutely insane. You beat Carlos by, what was it, 0.004 of a second?
Yep.
Then had a great battle with him in the early stages of the race. Then, despite how race 1 ended, you didn't let it dissuade you. Race 2, you had an amazing start, quickly got your way up to 3rd, and you did get a podium out of it in the end. So, all in all, considering it's been a bit up and down lately, you got to say
silly race 1.
it was. Do you want to talk us through it then? What happened?
Silly mistake in race 1. The pace was also on the softs, so I had a battle with Carlos all the way through the end of the stint. So then I boxed for the hards, trying to undercut on him, mostly because I didn't have any fuel left. Unfortunately, I wanted to go longer, but my mistake for not putting more fuel, which would have actually helped me a lot. I got blocked by a back marker, pit exit, unfortunately, so I lost heaps of time. Carlos exited the pits ahead of me by 1.5 seconds. So did Shimon. We battled through turn 1 and 2 with Shimon. I let him by. He made a mistake in the chicane. So I overtook him. But then I have no idea why. Yeah, pretty much the car on the hards doesn't really work. I have no clue why. It's really weird. And also, I had a little bit of contact with Carlos. The reason was at Parabolica, I had zero confidence. The car just would step out anytime under braking, so I had to brake earlier than him. And yeah, I moved over to take the racing line because I was well ahead. And because of this, I hit him and I gave him light blue damage, which kind of impeded the end of his race. So I'm sorry for that.
That's very honest and candid of you. One of the things Carlos said to us was he was really surprised your formation lap was so far. I mean, Eoin barely had enough time to go through all the grids on the broadcast.
There were only 22 cars. 24
also,
cars,
Owen's
so,
connection dropped about halfway through.
I dropped
read the grid
connection.
out. It was a bit chaotic, yes. And then before you'd even stopped the car in the grid slot, it seemed like the race got going. So it was like the speediest beginnings to. I guess from your perspective, the quicker the race is, the less chance there is of things going wrong. So
yeah, pretty much. Just wanted to get away with the race, and yeah, Carlos. I dropped DRS once, but he caught me back in sector 2. Sadly, formation lap was quick. Yeah.
So finally, talk us through race 2. You made the right choice to go for the soft tyres in the end. Carlos said the delta between soft to hard and harder tyres in race 2 was pretty close, but the tyre wear was so low enough to sort of make the soft the better option. And at the start, there's chaos ahead of you. Carlos gets spun around, but you and Jack Mayer just slice your way through the field up into the podium positions then. So that must have been a good feeling.
That was really, really good. Just straight away being P5 by the second chicane. That was really, really good. Then I think it was Patrick Rojac, which was ahead of me, so I overtook him for 4th. Then Moritz was on hards, and the delta between the hards on the soft was quite a little bit big. Very big, actually. The tire wear was also quite low, surprisingly. So I overtook Moritz. He had also very good straight line speed. And then it was just a race of attrition. I gained 2 whole seconds on Omari as well through the race. And I believe that if I had 2 more laps left, I would have gotten Shimon, I think. I had the DRS.
Oh, interesting. I had to say, in race 1, after your recovery after you crashed and lost the front wing, it's very impressive because you're only about 2 seconds behind Jack Mayer, who had a pretty difficult race of his own, as it happens. So I have to say, your pace in both races was incredible. Even if you didn't get the race 1 result that you deserved, I think you very much made up for it in race 2. So well done, Alex, and best of luck for Singapore as well.
Thank you, Ed, and I wish to see you in Singapore, even though you said earlier that I don't think you can.
You'll see me anyway because you're still doing FSR Pro, aren't you? So
yeah.
On 10th
FSR Pro. Oh no, same track. No.
Yeah, sorry, this is terrible. This is terrible etiquette for me as a commentator to cross promote other things that I commentate on, and that some of the same drivers take part in. But anyway, I'm sure you've got a few tricks up your sleeve, Alex. And congrats again on that pole. That was an amazing lap you put together today, and I loved commentating on it.
Ascari was bad, but I will take it. So yeah, thank you, thank you, Ed, and good luck, guys, for the next events. Good luck.
Thanks so much. Appreciate your time, Alex.
Thanks, and see you another time.
Cheerio.
Right. Okay. So with some of our top runners dispensed of, talked to rather. I don't think Murray Watson is anywhere. So it's a shame we can't talk to him because he's lovely. But do you want to talk to Thomas Harvey before we go, or Vincent maybe, or shall we wrap it up?
Yeah, I think we're coming a bit over time, to be honest. But yeah,
right.
I feel sorry for Chris as well. I'd love to get him in for a chat sooner rather than later, but we just missed out. So yeah.
Yeah, we should just drag Chris in first next time. Because,
yeah, literally bring him in first.
he's got the most valuable time. So, but anyway, I think unfortunately we'll have to give Spark a bit of a miss then on this occasion. But I'll leave the ending of the broadcast to you, Eoin. But I really enjoyed, especially the first race. I think I had a little bit of everything there, and race 2 had a pretty dramatic start, and I think Omari Watson just completely managed it superbly. And I'm amazed. Oh, I'm not amazed. I think I should have expected it really. That our drivers are putting on a fabulous show, not just in the races, but now in the championship as well, with Frelick really coming alive and finding his form again, and Jack Mayer really starting to struggle under the pressure a little bit, not qualifying particularly well, and then getting into incidents in race 1 before recovering and limiting the damage in race 2.
Yeah, and that's the sort of thing Shimon needed to. It was in the earlier parts of the season after his hat trick, it started to unravel a bit, and maybe the pressure got to him. But now that he's the hunter for the chase against his teammate, probably has lifted his spirits a lot. And yeah, the fact that he stayed resolute and compete for the win was very admirable. And race 2, getting the second place behind the classy Omari Watson. Yeah, I think it was a spot-on weekend for Frelick. And if he carries on into Singapore, yeah, he's got a championship bid recovered, hopefully. But yeah, that's all the time we have for this evening. That's been Ed Hunter. My name's Eoin Harmon, and thank you so much for the broadcast liaison, Heigo Poom, for a very, very fantastic event. And no break this time, just a 2-week wait until Singapore. So for myself and Ed and Heigo, thanks so much for tuning in. See you again soon.